going to find out that jumping on is a lot easier than jumping off.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know. The air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad.
Because their executive producers told them they couldn't talk about it on air.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So it just goes away, and then they move on to the next story. So it's just a fucking disaster. You know, the whole thing with the shooting and just all the mystery around it, and you get big media involved, and that's when shit starts getting covered up.
Right.
You know, so
I mean, they all work together, so it's...
There's so much... you know, I have a media company and we do local news. Right. And we just, we cover so much stuff. And we, for a long time, what we were doing is we were covering the graveyard shift for the other news companies. So like we were going out and getting like just B-roll footage for them. Like if there was an accident, we'd send them footage they could use on the 6 o'clock news.
Kind of like Nightcrawler.
Exactly. You know, and we would send them stuff and we'd be like, oh, there was this crazy shooting over here. And they'd be like, oh, They used a term I never heard before. And like, oh, that's in the no media zone. So like if there's a killing in like what you would call like the ghetto, you know, like it's not newsworthy. Like there's a killing there every day. Right. You know, show me.
Or the suicide jumps from the.
The suicide jumps, they don't cover those. The reason behind those is they say it's for, you know, we know for the casinos it's marketing, right? But they say like, oh, we don't want to. If anyone's close to committing suicide, we don't want to show them a suicide and push them over the edge. You know, like, come on, if someone's going to kill themselves, guess what they're going to do? They're going to fucking kill themselves. Right. You know, I have 2 friends that killed themselves. No note, no warning, no nothing. They just did it. You know what I mean? And then you see on the news all these people that are like, the ones that want attention are the ones that like, I'm going to fucking jump. I'm up here. I'm on the bridge. Shut the freeway down. Those people don't really jump. You know, they just don't. So it's, I don't know. It's a disaster. But like the no media zone was, you know, like if there was a killing in the ghetto. Right. You know, unless it's like a gang war, they don't want to hear about it, you know, but like, oh, show me, you know, shooting in Summerlin or Green Valley. That's news. People care about that. So it was just crazy.
But the Review Journal, it's ironic how they endorse him, but yet they're sue him for lack of transparency.
There was a reporter, I'll tell you his name. I don't want to say his name because I don't know if he's said this publicly, but he was a good friend of ours. And he reported on Lombardo, and he reported like, you know, bad stuff about Lombardo. And the story is that Lombardo came in to the Review Journal and like not attacked him, but confronted him at his desk about the stories he was running about.
Yeah, I heard he gets violent.
Yeah, and so like those are stories you hear, and it's like, dude, you're strong arming the media.
He puts the fear in people.
And the correct, and he's, you know,
it's old school.
Yeah,
it's old school.
And the stories about him are he's vindictive, you know what I mean? He doesn't let things go, and he holds a grudge. There's just a lot about him that people don't know, and it's
crazy how he's got connections. Otherwise, he wouldn't be put in. He wouldn't be put in.
No, in Vegas, you're chosen for sure. I mean, you're chosen by the people that own these casinos.
Is it the casinos?
For sure, it's the casinos.
It's not anybody that's.
That's the biggest. That's the biggest secret society on the planet, dude. Is the guys that own these buildings on Las Vegas Boulevard.
You think it doesn't go deep? It's not deeper than that.
It's that basic, dude. It's just that simple, man. If you're
endorsed
by Las Vegas Boulevard, you win. Same with our new governor.
What?
Steve Sisolak. You know, he's the guy. He's
the guy in the background.
A lot of people don't think he's the right guy. You know, and there was other people running. You know, I don't know much about, you know.
Well, I remember the old governor was like the owner of the Monte Carlo or whatever. Like their family like ran that casino and.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We'll see, Las Vegas Boulevard.
I forget. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know
totally.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like in a lot of these politicians, you know, they have gaming backgrounds, or you know, Senator Reid was on the gaming control board for a long time.
A greasy fucking guy.
You know,
dude.
I don't. That's just the way it works out here. There's
No, and they all come from Bishop fucking Gorman.
They do. A lot of them come from Bishop Gorman. There's a lot of Gorman. You go to that courthouse, there's a lot of Gorman alumni. They might as well paint it fucking blue and orange.
No, for sure, dude.
Like
This
the
whole
judges-
What is it with Gorman?
That's the
though?
Vegas Illuminati, dude.
That's just the upscale private high school out here. Just the
and when
Okay,
we're
that's
talking,
what I thought.
when we're talking upscale, they recruit kids from across the country to play at their for their football and their basketball and shit like that. Recruit high school kids.
yeah.
Or, like,
and that was a
crazy.
Is that
whole-
where
And it's not like
Snoop Dogg?
they're not
Correct.
recruiting, but
Okay.
they're not recruiting, but like Snoop's kid and all sorts. But like when you see a tons of when you see like all the kids that go to professional sports out of Vegas, except for like a couple of old school like Maddox and a couple of people. I don't know. Where did Maddox go? You go
Valley.
like Valley or Chaparral or
Went to
something.
Valley.
Yeah, a couple other people didn't, but most of them come out of fucking Bishop Gorman. Everybody that runs a state that's big power, big real estate, big fucking gaming.
If you just go walk that campus, you see all the donors,
Lawyers.
people who've donated money there, and you're like, oh shit, I know that name. That's a company.
They're-
That's a big business out
They're
here.
like
That's-
stadium, and they're that they have built in their like schools like $120 million, some
God.
shit like that. It's
Their
like,
football team's practice facility, their weights, like their whole like their weight room and their saunas and all that shit. It's nicer than the one at the university.
but here's the thing: is all the people, all the alumni, all the people that have graduated there, they are die hard. And like do all sorts of benefits, all sorts of fucking, they look out for themselves, or each other, their people. So
Wow.
it's very respectable in that manner.
Yes, sir.
No, but they run this shit. They
Yeah.
run this shit.
I didn't go to Gorman, but I grew up with a lot of kids that went to Gorman.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't go there.
I dated a couple girls from Gorman.
I went to the private. I went to the private school for a couple years. That was before Gorman, like the elementary school that feeds into Gorman.
Yeah.
But I pulled out of there like around 4th grade.
But that's the Vegas Illuminati, dude,
Yeah.
for sure. Like that's the secret society. It's part of it, one of it.
So Hannah, you said you've been here 2 years.
Yeah.
What did you start thinking of Vegas when you started? Because you sound like you're pretty like aware and you kind of figured out a lot of stuff. on your
Oh
own.
yeah. I was like this.
Compared to
is-
home, what do you think about this place?
Well, just the level of shitty people. I don't know what it is, but whether it was dating or
Well, you'll get that, but you'll probably get more of it because you're very attractive. So you'll probably get just shit upon shit.
I mean, like shitty friends. People are so flaky out here.
Very.
It drives me insane.
So being born and raised here, like my close circle of friends is all born and raised here. We kind of had a rule, like growing up, like we don't really like hang out with people that aren't like from here. Because they
Makes
always
sense.
end up doing like shady shit, like they always. This is like when we were out of school, like
Right.
they like move in, they become roommates, and you come home and the house is fucking cleaned out, and they move back to fucking wherever they're from.
Oh,
like that
yeah,
type
I know
of
a lot of
shit.
people like that.
Yeah,
don't
like,
blame you.
And so like we would hang out at this bar. We used to hang out at this bar on in the neighborhood I grew up
happened to
in. It was called Ichabod's. It's still there.
Oh, I've been to Ichabod.
Ichabod?
Dope.
Yeah,
That's a
dude.
dope Vegas bar. And we used to hang out there all the time, and there would always be like these. It was like a real locals bar. Like everybody knew everybody. Like we had your seat, and those guys sit over there, but we know them. They're from here. We're all from the same neighborhood. And anytime like an outsider would come in there, we would just kind of like fucking just turn away from them. Like no fucking hospitality, just because it's like, dude, you're not from here. You're far from the boulevard, buddy. Like this is
They
a locals
know.
place.
They
And
know.
I saw a lot of guys get beat up in that bar too for like pulling stupid shit. And it goes all the way down from like ripping people off on a bag of weed to fucking like all that shit. Like it's just crazy. And not everyone that comes here is shady, but there is a lot of that transient population that like a lot of locals just don't want anything to do
Well,
with.
one of the things people can do, they can just assume any personality or any identity.
Yeah.
They can be anything. I learned that when I first moved out because I grew up, in California, and the crew, like all my friends, like at least when the time before I left, it was all about being, loyal and fucking being tight
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and being honest, and I moved out to Vegas, and immediately I was telling you about, like tweakers. I was just able to kind of, see the bad people.
Right.
And you can just see people who are putting on all these fronts and all this stuff like that. And they would all just burn. They would all just burn out, And I learned then. I was like, yeah, the reason why they're like that is because no one can no one can fact check them. No one can look and see
Pre-social media days.
Yeah, well, not even that, dude. I mean, you don't know what anybody's character is because they come in acting all hard. They da-da-da-da, and, for the time being until something happens, when shit goes down, you know what I mean? That's when you find out.
One big giveaway is when they put their last name as Vegas on social media. Like, nobody from here is like fucking Mikey Vegas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one from here is that.
That's funny.
It's always some other dude, Joe Vegas. Well, fuck, you're from Oklahoma, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, what's funny is
But that's for their friends back home. Like, oh, I'm Mr. Vegas now, and they lie and they say they got all the club hookups. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
There was a guy, there's a comedian out here. He went by Vegas Mike.
Oh, yeah.
From Texas.
See, you're not from here.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
It's
totally.
just a dead giveaway. Like, well, you're not from here. There's a sports bettor guy, Vegas Dave. I don't know if you heard of this guy. But he was a big sports bettor. He'd do like $1 million bets, and he started taking people's money for picks and stuff. And the next thing you know, he's arrested by the FBI and fucking, thrown out.
You don't know anybody. You really don't. Like, I've started taking some Krav Maga.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm really excited to really because so I have a gun and I live on my own. And I grew up with guns. I have baby pictures of me holding guns. And it's just how I was raised. I feel comfortable with one. I'm good at one. I go shooting every Sunday. Like, I'm good. Yeah.
Awesome.
But I can't carry it into a casino. I mean, we do comedy in some sketchy ass places.
Do you have a concealed weapons permit?
I don't.
Get one.
Yeah.
Because if I drive, I can just have it. I mean, it's
front sight.
I don't really. You can't go into many places.
This is open
with
carry,
it to
but
begin
still.
with it.
Open carry is dangerous. That's a thing. Like, that's a thing. Like, you become a target.
Well, yeah, people panic. It's crazy.
Well, not just that, but people, it's a known thing. Like, a lot of people that open carry have been overpowered and their guns have been stolen from them.
Oh, well, I can see that.
You get a lot of 21-year-old fucking kids running around. They go to Walgreens with their pistol on their hip and shit.
No, I can see that totally.
They just get jumped and they get there because they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to own a gun, but to actually pull it out and defend yourself, that's a whole nother mindset.
Oh, dude.
And then like you said, training wise, fucking, I know when I was bounty hunting a lot, 4 or 5 days a week at one point, we would train, we would practice shooting. You know what I mean? So it was like, fuck, let's get in a shootout. You know what I mean? You're going to hit some innocent bystander. You know what I mean? Sucks for them, but you're not going to hit me. I know that for a fact. You don't have your breathing's not right. You don't even have to hold your fucking gun.
Yeah.
For God's sakes. I mean, I've been in a couple of shootouts bounty hunting, and I've never got
Which
hit.
is crazy is how many back in the day, how many fucking people would get shot, fucking drive-bys and shit, dude.
It's never the guy they're looking for. Look at that girl that just died, that 11-year-old girl. Did you hear about that in North Las Vegas?
No.
He got the kid that they were shooting, the target they were going for was in a little beef with this other group of guys, and they did something on Snapchat where you could geolocate people. Did you know about that?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have Snapchat. I don't know how that shit works. But they geolocated them, and Snapchat just was 15 feet to the left. So they shot the wrong house up, and they killed an 11-year-old girl doing homework at her kitchen table.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Fucking. And then in that shooting, a neighbor ran outside and killed 2 of the guys that were doing and they, the other guys drove off and shit. But it was just a huge fucking disaster, and they killed the fucking 11-year-old kid.
That's heartbreaking.
And, I mean, that was recently. That was within the last couple months. So it's just one story.
Yeah.
I'm all about trying to be prepared. I don't know if I call it being a survivalist, but I definitely have my car kind of ready to go.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I think you should be. I mean, that's something that
all that good stuff.
Yeah, I have a survival backpack in the back of my car.
Go bag. That's good.
I'm not nearly as prepared as I once was after I got arrested and shit. But no, man, you got to have some kind of plan. You got to have a bug out bag.
I just don't want to be caught off prepared. But I mean, we do comedy in a lot of sketchy places, and there's a lot of situations where I don't feel safe.
No, definitely.
You can't trust anybody. And even the comics that maybe walk me to the car, they expect it some date. I want to make out with you in my car or something. And it's
Jesus
just like,
Christ.
no, can you just fucking walk me to the car so I am safe? Like,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
so it's just like, I don't want to be caught off prepared for that. I don't know what the
No,
fuck's going
totally.
on in the
Yeah.
world. I want to just try to, I'm going to just become rich and then buy a whole bunch of land in the middle of nowhere.
Gate it off
Wyoming.
and
Well,
just
that's
be up
right.
on your hill.
Yeah,
That's the way to
exactly.
go.
Well,
for sure.
that's what I always
I've
say. I
done
want like a
agriculture.
2-mile long driveway.
Like
You know what I mean?
John's Oscar's Oasis.
Yeah, you out there. What are you doing?
What the fuck are you
What are
doing
you doing
here?
out
What are
here?
you doing out here?
Especially if you from the bank.
Yeah.
What you doing out here?
But yeah, I know how to raise my own animals and grow my own food. So I feel like I want to be,
That's part of that Wyoming living.
yeah.
That's
Nice.
fucking beautiful.
So what was Wyoming like? What was going on out there?
It's just really, I mean,
Like
it's
your personal
gorgeous.
upbringing. Like, did you grow up on a farm or
So
something?
I grew up in Cheyenne, which is the bottom right corner, and it's boring,
Okay.
and there's not much to do, but it's the capital, so it's one of the most popular.
Yeah.
Not too far from Colorado. That was a nice place. I started going to Colorado like 3 times a week when I was
nice.
living there. We had a ton of land. We had, animals, quite a bit of acreage. And then I got a job in oil and gas. And then in Wyoming, you get basically free school for staying in the state, depending on how your grades are in high school. So I was like, well, I'm going to take advantage of it. Went up to Cody, Wyoming, which is the upper left corner of the state, which is closer to Jackson Hole and Cody. Now, those places are absolutely gorgeous. And there was nothing to do, so we would just throw all these big bonfires in the middle of the boonies where you have to get to it by a truck and you have to know your landmarks to get to it. And then
John's house.
we just throw these huge fires, and then we would see the northern lights and
Oh, wow.
and shit
Fuck
like
yeah.
that. And you're so close to
See, that's
Yellowstone.
that's fucking great living.
I got
See, I grew up here.
Yellowstoned.
I grew up
every
here in
weekend.
Vegas. Like, it was just urban living. You know what I mean? Like, fucking just.
Yeah, but
city shit.
even here, like, I mean, I did my senior year of high school. I mean, I grew up in California, but I even like coming out here, like, you'd still zip off in the desert and did like,
Pabco Road.
you know what I mean? Like, go do shit, you know?
Yeah.
Go out to the tubes, which is now the 215
Yeah,
and shit.
it's
you know?
crazy. I remember that shit. Yeah.
But
Yeah, so I mean, Wyoming is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
like
it's not like
growing up
Wyoming.
with buffalo in your front yard or
Oh,
whatever,
shit.
elk, so much wildlife.
Did you
and-
hunt?
No, I fished.
Fish. Okay.
sweet.
I'm
Nice.
really good at fishing, so
Nice.
I like it. I miss it.
You
that's
get
it.
along
When-
with my wife. My wife's a hunter, fisher. She grew up like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
it's the best way to grow up. I mean,
My wife's like, I'll set the table.
No, my wife's
You
my
guys-
wife's dad is like I don't know like much about fishing, you know. And
Uh-huh.
then my wife's dad is like
I'll get dessert made. While
he's
you
one of
eat
these
all that.
dudes that like every time he throws his pole in the water, he's pulling a fish out, and I'm out there for like 4 hours, like losing my whole setup and shit, you know. Like, and this dude's like literally like he's like like capped out. He's got like he's throwing fish back at this point, like making fun of me. I'm like, fuck.
Oh,
you, bro.
I'm usually the angler of the group. I'm the guy that like
Yeah.
throws. It's my Asian dude.
my dad made me like gut the fish and do all that brutal stuff at such a young age, but I wouldn't change it. Now I just miss it because I'm like, I fucking hate people and I hate paying for parking.
yeah, paying for parking.
I
oh
want
my
to pee
goodness.
outside again. that
That's a
shit
fucking,
feels good.
that's a that's
So what brought you here?
Well, so in college, I was like, well, I don't really want to live in Wyoming. There's so much to do. My sister had moved out here the year, actually 2 years before me, to pursue dance. And, I was just kind of looking for something new. And I had an idea that I wanted to start comedy. I was too scared to give it a shot in LA straight from Wyoming, because
Yeah.
I'm like, well, now we have a film degree and, I want to maybe try this. And I was so delusional about LA. And it was such a disappointment when I got there. But yet, like, so overwhelming with, like, oh my gosh, like, I get so goofy about those kind of things. Like, when I went to the Comedy Store for the first time, like, I was in tears because it was every place, like, I dreamed and heard all my
It's the
favorite.
Mecca. Yeah, it's the place to be for sure.
And I walk in there and, like, Jim Carrey's face and all those people on the wall. And
Oh, when you first walk up, like those original room stairs, is that what you're talking about?
yes.
And all those headshots are on the wall, and then that back hallway, that's intimidating for sure. It's cool to see.
So it was just.
I was more. The only time the only time I've been there, I had to perform. So at doing the little show in the belly room.
Yeah.
So I was more nervous of like not
you're-
fucking up or pissing somebody
Yeah,
off.
your head's
or-
in a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
No, I used to go to the Comedy Store a couple times a week, man. That place is. There's an energy there for sure. There's like there is an energy like harnessed in that building. Like you definitely feel the presence of all like the great ones that have been there. Like you say, you walk in, you see Jim Carrey, you see Richard Pryor's headshot, Kinnison's on the wall. You're like, fuck, this is the real shit. You know, and then like you said, you hear like the guys whose podcasts are like famous and they're just like hanging out at the bar, and you're like, holy shit,
Oh my
this is crazy.
And like I get so starstruck. Like I was in the same bathroom as Whitney Cummings, so I freaking love Whitney Cummings.
Oh my god.
So I was washing my hands for like 10 minutes waiting for her to come out of the stall. And the Comedy Store bathroom is so small and so awkward, and it smells so bad. So I'm washing my hands, and she comes out, and I'm panicking, and I'm like, Whitney Cummings, I love you, and I like to do stand up, and I like horses, and then and then she was nice
cool,
about
for
it.
sure. Yeah,
she
she's
was
super
like,
cool.
"Oh, you want a selfie?" And then it was right before she went up on stage. She killed,
nice.
and I was just like, "I freaking love you." And so any celebrity, I panic, and it's it's embarrassing how starstruck I get. But
What's,
at the
wow.
same time,
Wow.
it's like I grew up in a barn.
What's Mr. Cooper's name? I forget his name. What's his name? You know, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. The old TV show, the comedian, I forget his name, but we ran into him in the bathroom, and it was like hella funny and shit. I was like,
Isn't
oh,
it
shit.
Cooper?
It was like, no, it's what's his name? I forgot his name.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm terrible with names. That's why like I don't get too starstruck, because I don't know a lot of people's I don't, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
and I'm terrible with it, you know. But the people I do know, I kind of get a little weird. But
Mark
I don't want
Curry.
Mark Curry, yeah. I don't want to geek out on, you know, like I met when I was doing the show with Sam Tripoli, I met Tom Rhodes, and I'm a big fan of Tom Rhodes, and I was just like, hey man, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like, how cool, you know. And the whole time in my head, I'm like, it's fucking Tom Rhodes, like holy you know.
Yeah.
And you know, after he left, I told Sam, I go, dude, it took a lot for me to maintain composure, you know. I didn't want to like mark out in front of this dude, you know. And he was like, why not, dude? He's like, sometimes those guys need that shit, dude.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
And I was like, do you think he hates me now? Yeah, does he think like I'm like
That dude's a dick.
do you think I'm like unimpressed with, you know what I mean? I was like, oh fuck, I fucked up my chance, you know, like.
But you also get super jaded to that, because I was really young when I was in LA,
Mm-hmm.
like 20, and you know, we were promoting the movie and stuff like that, and we were like in the scene, like we were in that scene, you know, we were like hanging out with like people that were like relevant, you know, a lot of B-level, you know, C and B-level celebrities, MTV celebrities and stuff like that. And so you go to these parties and you're like, holy shit, like fucking, it's just like impressive, like, oh my God, that dude's just smoking a joint by the stairs, you know, like, oh, like, you know, it's like, fuck. Okay, dude, they're normal people. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Just
yeah,
chill
yeah,
the fuck out.
yeah.
They go to work, they work in front of a camera, you know what I mean? So after so long, like, you just get like, you know, and then it was like people like coming up to us like, oh, we're fans. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, holy shit, they heard of us, you know, like it was just like a trip. And then after like, you know, a couple days of that and a couple more parties, it's like, fuck it, let's just kick it.
Last
Yeah,
time I was
dude,
at the Comedy Store, Dave Chappelle was there.
Oh,
and
nice.
you could just feel his presence. And it was, yeah, I mean, I love it. Dave Chappelle and I have a weird story with Dave Chappelle. Let me go over it. So he was going to be in Cheyenne and perform at the Cheyenne Little Theater. And it was the summer I got back from graduating college. And my mom was like, for your graduation present, we are going to, you know, she was like, I'll buy you tickets to go see Dave Chappelle. And I'm like, awesome.
Killer.
Well, before that, while I was up in school in Cody, I had a friend who was a transfer student from the Dominican Republic the Congo. And he
Oh, damn.
went to Denver for spring.
Big difference.
Yeah. Big
difference.
Right. He kind of liked me, but I wasn't into him. I didn't lead him on in any way either, but we were just good friends. And then
You batting them eyes leads probably a lot
I
of
was
these
gonna
dogs. Like,
say,
she made eye contact.
You don't
with
understand guys yet, do you?
Yeah, fuck.
You said hi to him.
Yeah.
You're his.
So he goes down to Colorado for spring break. Then he eats an edible. And he wasn't 21 yet. He eats an edible, but really he was suicidal. And then he jumps out the hotel building and kills himself. And he's actually technically known as the first death by marijuana. It was just fresh in the news. His name's Levi Thamba. And I feel really bad. I was crying as soon as I found out because he messaged me beforehand. And I kind of felt bad that I didn't text him back.
Where did he do this at? Where
This was in Denver.
Okay.
And then he jumped out of the hotel window.
I remember something like that, but he had already had issue with.
Yeah, I think it was more like he was saying he had like a prophecy and stuff.
Like we said before, people that are going to kill themselves are going to kill themselves,
right,
regardless.
Yeah,
it's not a fucking the
so,
edible didn't do it.
Yeah,
it was a huge, weird secret from the kids who were there and witnessed it when they came back to school from spring break. Anyway, so I was upset. I felt bad.
Did he do it for you?
No.
Oh.
So
Jesus,
damn! I was digging.
We're at the Dave Chappelle thing, and I'm
shit.
kind of sitting close and to the left, and he starts to talk about marijuana, and then he goes into the news about Denver, and then he starts talking about my friend Levi.
Oh shit!
And out of the whole fucking audience, like it's a still pretty big theater.
Yeah.
It holds quite a bit. He's staring right at me.
Oh shit!
And saying this, like just to me.
Talking to you.
He is talking to me. He's not looking around.
Are you crying?
My mom, yeah, inside, I could tell it was him, Levi, just being there with me.
Yeah.
It through a form of Dave Chappelle. It was the most emotional thing. My mom's sitting next to me. She knows that I'm upset, and she knows he's talking to me. And she's even like, he's talking to you. He's talking just to you. And
oh, wow.
She's panicking on, the inside. And it was a good solid, 2-3 minutes of material. And it feels like a long time because we've locked eyes.
Yeah.
And no one else in that theater knew Levi.
Oh shit.
I mean, no one.
Personally knew him. Yeah.
That's crazy.
knew
Yeah,
him.
They just knew the story, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Where he would like cock his head and look out into the audience. You know what I mean? It happens to be at towards you.
Yeah.
You know?
What's the coincidence? I don't
No,
know.
there's an energy, there's a vibration, there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? That's like legit.
I hate locking eyes with people when I'm on stage.
Oh really?
I feel like I do it. I
Unless
don't
you're a
know
heckler,
it.
I always try to look past the person or in between people. It's weird.
No, it's just a second and then you move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we went to Chappelle and Mayor whatever before the new year or whatever
that's right,
and
yeah.
stuff. And I found out that I can't be at least not in that capacity. I can't be an audience member.
I don't like big shows like that.
I can't, dude.
Really?
Well, first of all, waiting in line and all that stuff, being around all the people, that was like the whole. All I could think about is how many people I'd have to fucking throat chop to get out of here. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is I'm not an audience person, dude. I'm supposed to be on that stage. I'm supposed to be backstage, chilling, waiting in the wings, to go up, open this bitch up or something. You know what I mean? I'm a part of something that's just how my mind works. I mean, I know I wouldn't be in with that crew, but I should be
I'm definitely
be the local dude that gets to kick it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a radio dude or anything but in my mind's, I was I'm on a performance mindset. How do I get down to be on that stage? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to bum rush it, but that's where I need to be on that's where I need to be on shows.
You're gonna come out in the underwear show,
Yeah.
Hey, dude,
crashing the Chappelle.
Dude,
I'm the opposite. When I'm burned out, I have to go to a big show to just kind of get
Reset and
re-inspired, and then I envision myself on that stage, and then I'm now I'll be maybe opening, make it a goal to open for him, but it's just when I'm down in the dumps, and then I'm motivated.
It gave me the biggest anxiety in my wife, she's like, "You're not having a good time." I'm like, "Oh, it's fun." And she goes, you fucking want to be down there, don't you? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, and she's like, God, she's like, your fucking ego. And I was like, it's not that. It is that. It's not that though. You know, like it's just, yeah, just you want more. You want to do that. You know what I mean? That's what your affirmations, your vision. You know what I mean? The shit that you envision. You know, you put yourself, but like. Hearing the normies talk, you know what I mean? Like hearing people talk, I was like, I don't need to be here. I shouldn't be here. This isn't. Listen to you people. You know what I mean? Like these are the kind of people that
That's
look
your
at like
audience, though, man.
these are the kind of people that like go by like how good music is by like record sales.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't even
Like,
get me started on that commercialism and.
yeah, dude. Like
I remember like when we were younger, we'd listen to music, and then like people would be like, "Oh, if that's so dope, how come it's not on MTV?"
oh god.
Jesus Christ.
I definitely, when I watch other comics, I watch other things like, oh, do they play with the mic stand? How fast are they pacing? How
much
are they?
stage do they take up? Like
Yeah.
square footage do they roam and stuff? Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. Are they reaching for the mic stand?
Yeah,
They're-
playing with the cord.
I was just watching the new Ray Romano before I
or their
earlier today.
us.
Do you guys check that out?
Not yet. That was on my.
But that was something I noticed because he did 2 sets. It's not like a normal special. It's not like it shows him like walking through New York. He goes to the cellar and then he goes around the corner, you know, and he does 2 sets. And it was like funny, like you said, like he grabbed the mic stand, like lowered it all the way down, put it out of his way. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Lowers
That's
it.
weird. Yeah, lowers it. He lowered
That's
it.
kind of hard.
Yeah, and he like lowered it. And he was saying like this is the first time he's done stand up in like 23 years. So he just got up there,
Wow.
did 2 sets.
Well,
Was
I
he
don't
at-
know.
and-
I'm not buying that. Maybe in like those clubs or like.
But
Maybe
isn't
special,
He has
maybe
his
a
face
special.
on
I was gonna say
Mandalay
because-
Bay.
Because he's
Yeah.
done Brad Garrett's.
No, I don't know if he's done Garrett's, but I know he's
pretty
done.
sure he
I know he's
has.
done the Treasure Island in less than 20 years.
I see
Yeah,
his
you're
face
right.
on the
Yeah,
posters.
he's like- yeah,
out
he's-
there.
He's like a routine.
Well, I'm sure he's done Brad. That's his homie, right? Like they were on that show together.
I don't
for
know if he
years.
can contractually do it. He might do a pop in, but he definitely is not billed there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, he's doing. Why would he do that? Why would he do
Yeah.
a fucking 100-seater when he can do a fucking?
Stadium.
Have you done
yeah.
Brad Garrett's?
No.
I've never
I
even
barely
been to
get
Brad
on.
Garrett's. I
Yeah,
haven't
it's a
even been in
beautiful
it.
room, dude.
Is it?
It's
Yeah,
great.
my buddy Nick got to perform there, or was performing there, and I got to hang out in the back and all that shit. It was
I don't
fun.
go out much. I haven't
Did
even
you
been
get
to
to
the
go?
one at the Rio.
Yeah. One time, Gooch was on, and we just asked if he could get us in and put us on the guest list.
For sure.
Oh no, I'm saying, did you get to go perform?
Oh God, no!
Oh, I was gonna say that'd be dope. They put you in.
I got the under rush hour. Come on.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying that'd be cool. You know, you never know. Garrett, you know, he's thrown people up before, but there's a comedian that kind of burned that when it was over at the Trop. This comedian was a poker player, dealer, and he was struck it up with Garrett at a table and pestered him, and he put him up, and fucking just a painful 2 minutes, let alone the 5 that he was up there, just woo.
Oof.
And yeah, kind of ruined it for the rest of like everybody else had that kind of deal. But you know, yeah, it's a beautiful room though. It's like you're going into a nice steakhouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you think is the nicest room in town?
Nicest room in town?
Ralph's backyard.
Go nicest,
Yeah.
and then go like best to work on new material, like
Well,
actual material worthy room, responsive.
Well, I haven't, you know, I haven't performed on all the stages, but the place that I think, the place that I like to set up the most for comedy, and I wanna perform there, is the Laugh Factory, because the stage, the amount of seats, and then the low ceiling.
Yeah.
The sound in there is just great. Like, very, very soft-spoken guys, you know, come through really crisp in that room. But you know, I get that same feel. You get that same stuff Not the same sound as far as, but the same intimacy as L.A. Comedy though. That's a good one. I got to do Jokesters down at the D. I'd love to go back there. The room was really, really new. It was the first weekend.
Okay.
It was a Labor Day weekend, and I got to work the 2 shows on that or whatever to kick it off. But I like that room too, as far as low ceilings, good sound. Planet Hollywood over there, Las Vegas Live. That's a fun one, but it's it's amazing. It's amazing what Edwin does every night in that room. But high ceilings to me just makes me want to yell. Makes me want to bark out instead of just talk.
Yeah.
Like deliver in a more controlled voice versus it's like when I'm doing the tours, I gotta speak loud and talk because of the ambient noise in a big room. I feel like that, but when it's a tighter, you can kind of sit down and have a little more fun. But and then the other rooms that I worked are closed. No, LA Comedy, they're really cool because they told me to, feel free to push it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was also times where like, oh, hey, when I was hosting, like, hey, this guy likes to like go a little hard or whatnot. Like maybe don't do any conspiracies. We don't want it to be like too heavy, like one way or anything. I was like, oh, what do you mean? I don't go. That's not my my whole shtick. You know what I mean? Like I'm probably gonna be talking about being naked in front of my kids or something. You know what I mean? Like it's not. But they're just looking out for the continuity of the show. But yeah. Why you? Anything?
I thought the nicest stage I've performed on was the Wee Funny Inspire Theater.
That's a cool spot.
I like that spot.
That's a cool spot.
It's a nice theater. I've never. I performed their little contest open mic. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever that little deal.
That was. That was that.
Yeah.
I did so bad on that.
I did good the first one. The second one was. I definitely wasn't. I did a Macho Man. I did my whole set as Macho Man, and the thing was, I did it. It fucked my voice up for like months.
Oh shit!
I pulled a muscle like something. I strained something in my throat.
You got a honey coat before you do Macho Man. You got to drink a bunch of honey.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I pulled something.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I pulled like I couldn't like if I like stretched my neck out, it would knot up. It was terrible. I actually went to the doctors for it.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
it's not very macho.
Yeah, no. after like a month,
whole new respect you had for him after that, huh?
Well, it's just I always do like a Macho Man, but on stage and when I was getting laughs, I just like really got into it and I fucking I pulled a hammy. Yeah,
pulled a throaty.
Yeah, Cordy.
Fuck, that's commitment.
Yeah, dude, I'm all about it.
That's commitment for sure.
I'm like her and her exorcisms.
So what's up with these exorcisms?
No, wait. Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead. But I wanted to. She has a ghost story. She wanted to talk about.
I'll do the summary of it because my mom's version, you will pass out.
Okay.
There's a lot of detail to it, but besides the fact that I could do really good exorcism reenactments, we had to perform an exorcism on my house in Wyoming.
A real exorcism.
Was okay. Yeah. Okay. Clarification. Real exorcism via Catholic Church. Are they the only ones that do an exorcism?
No.
Okay, I don't know.
I didn't know the priest personally. It wasn't my normal church pastor that I would go to. But I walked in and there were 2 priests.
Okay, well, hold on. Backdrop. This is before moving in the home, or you were already living in the house?
So I was living there, and
How long were you living in the house before the exorcism?
We're gonna stop. There's a lot of questions here.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
we're-
back up.
How do you know? How do you know this house? When is it determined this house needs an exorcism?
Yeah. that
Okay,
part.
so
okay,
we actually lived.
Hold on real quick. I think when I do this do this podcast, I think I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna do it in reverse. So we do this in the beginning, because we're getting to know more about Hannah and towards the end of the deal. So okay.
So the house I was talking about, that we had land and horses and stuff like that, we were out there for quite some time. Now, my loving family, we did foster care for quite a bit, and we had adopted.
Did a fucking kid bring the fucking? Did you adopt a Damien?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
No, but no. My sister, that we ended up adopting through the system, she ended up taking her life. Oh, fuck. Yeah. And this house was her favorite, though.
Why did she?
Well, I mean, my
Because
mom
of
still
parents-
to this day won't tell me the stuff
parents
that
are
her
bad?
parents did to her.
Oh, okay. Trouble.
Yeah.
How old was she when you guys
Trauma.
got her?
We got her when she was 13, and
Okay.
then took her life when she was 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was probably, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not blood. I mean, she was
Yeah.
my sister, and so
I'm adopted, and all my siblings are adopted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was like trying to figure.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And then
And I was abandoned by half of my family.
yes.
Oh, we're all put together. So, but I also have a little brother that we got when he was 17 days old, and then we got to adopt him when he was 2. So I also have him, but he has fetal alcohol spectrum syndrome,
Yeah.
which is on the other side of the autism spectrum. So he's super good at sports, but when his feelings get hurt, doesn't react well.
Yeah.
So we lived in this house, and my sister was kind of like her house. It was her favorite house. She had a favorite couch, so she lived in the house, and it was just her safe place, and she never wanted us to move from it. Well, because the winters are so brutal out there, we decided to move into town. Well, before we moved out there, we started to have really weird things happen to us, besides the fact that there was the barn that looks like the barn from Exorcism of Emily Rose, just abandoned across my street.
Okay. She had already passed, or
Yeah,
just-
she passed.
Okay.
So,
And what year was?
I can't tell you.
Oh.
Don't make me do the math.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just how many years apart from?
Oh, okay.
Or-
So, she, I want to say it was a good 2 years from
Okay.
when she passed to when we decided to move. And nothing really started to come up, but my brother definitely was reacting out, and we would see weird dark shadows. Nothing
What do you
that
mean
really
reacting out emotionally, or
with just his behavior. He just had a ton of temper tantrums, a lot of anger issues. We had so many issues with
How old
him.
was he at the time?
He
About?
was now he's 2, 3.
Okay.
Like,
so I'm
still-
wondering, is he seeing anything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is he, because the kids are tuned in?
We talked about that.
Yeah.
So we move into this new house, and we are having issues, and a lot of.
How old are you?
I'm actually about to graduate. It was my senior year,
Okay.
and
So 20.
20.
That'd be me. That'd be me.
I'm trying to remember. I haven't told this story in a while. So weird things are happening where it sounds like my voice is responding to things, but I'm not there. Like, my parents came into the house when I was at work.
Oh my God, that just gave me chills, because I know what you're. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
Wow.
they heard me say, hey, like, kind of, they had a small conversation with me.
Oh, shit.
dude.
And my dad came downstairs because he was going to ask me where my car was. Like, is there an explanation why you're here and your car is not here?
Oh, fuck.
And
Oh, shit.
he freaked out. I wasn't there. And then he was like, maybe I heard it on my phone. Maybe if it was a voicemail. But no, there was no voicemails. There was nothing that they could really play back like that. And there was a ton of multiple instances where, you know, I'm doing homework on the computer late at night, and behind me, I think it's my mom saying, honey, are you almost done? You should go to bed. You've been up late. And I'd be like, yeah, like, give me another 20 minutes. I'll be almost done here.
Yeah.
And I would turn around, and my mom is knocked out in her bed.
Across the house.
Oh,
and questions being answered that we didn't want answered, and taps on our shoulders, and
Oh, shit.
Well, here's the thing. I gotta say, a lot of this is positive, though. Like, why would you have an exorcism to...
She's getting there.
yeah.
Okay.
So things kind of started acting weird. Like, I would sleep on this couch that at our old place, I felt uncomfortable, but it was the only piece of furniture that we had brought from our old house to our new house. Everything else
The
we bought new.
attachment.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there were pictures that we had of our couch with just these major orbs on them. Didn't think anything of it. I'm like, oh, it's dusty.
Right. Yep. Well, we talked about that. Yep.
And so there was a few nights I would sleep on there, and I would have the craziest dreams. And I actually, like, had 2 teeth chip and fall out in the middle of the night. Like, I've never, like, woke up and
Were
I
you
was
like grinding?
I don't know what it was, but
What
I
is that
woke up and I
fucking-
had pieces of teeth just broken out of my mouth. And I don't know if there was anything.
Did
But
you
you don't
that-
have like grinder teeth, because I know people with grind. They're short. You don't. Yeah, your teeth aren't
Yeah,
like.
what about
you have normal teeth.
TMJ? Isn't that when the jaws like, and if you bite real hard on the jaw, like,
I
or
really
something?
don't know what it could have been. I mean,
I'm just
Something.
trying.
so
I'm
it was
trying
just, it's a weird little addition to the story.
No, but you know, I mean, you could be, you know, that sleep paralysis thing where people are like, "There's a demon over my body" or whatnot, and you can't move, and
Yeah.
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, so,
And
that's just the level of creep I just took
we
me to.
would have company over, and they were kind of, you know, maybe my mom would say like, oh,
So what happened with the teeth though?
I don't know. I mean, I just kind of, I mean, I was fine. I wasn't
Yeah.
in pain. I knew I had to go to the dentist. I didn't think much of it. It didn't hurt. And I threw out my broken pieces.
That's the oddity of the.
yeah.
Okay.
So just a weird side note. So
No.
then we had company over, and I know my mom has kind of briefly told some people kind of the weird things that are happening. So I remember my mom and her friends sitting on the couch, and she just asked a question about it. All of a sudden, the picture from behind the couch comes off the wall and falls and hits them both on the head.
Whoa.
And at that, okay, so we were all kind of creeped out in the house, and my mom didn't know really what to do. I mean, they're strong in the Christian faith, so my mom kind of just talked to the pastor about it. Nothing really big, but she did reach out to this lady who claims she's a medium. Now, my mom, we're both ghost hunt, like, we love paranormal and all that stuff, so we weren't too afraid of it, but we're still skeptical of people who say that they feel things or see things, you know, like, we question it. So my mom skeptically kind of reaches out to this medium, and she
contacts her, or
yeah, just kind of contacts her, doesn't tell her very much what is going on, and she already could sense it. And all she had to do was stand outside of our house, and like, I was skeptical, but there were things that she couldn't have known.
No, totally.
And,
totally.
And she brought up how there was actually, she brought up some of the, like, there was an old Indian guy that lived at the house prior to where we moved from that.
It's always an Indian.
Yeah, that ended up were representations of the shadows that we saw, and also he, I guess, mentioned to her that he just didn't like my brother's behavior and didn't really respect my brother.
Oh, the Indian? She spoke to the Indian?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And so we're like, okay,
There's a lot of Native American population in that part of the country, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cheyenne.
Yeah.
And so, so that kind of gave an explanation to our old house, but she's telling my mom, she's just standing outside the house. She doesn't go in, and she's just telling my mom, she's like, there's this young woman who's in there. And my mom's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, she's saying you're her mother. And I'm arguing with her, telling her she needs to leave and that Rhonda only has 2 kids or 3 kids. Sorry, I forgot my sister, but still alive. And
hey, there's a sibling out there that it happens every now and then.
Because my mom told her she had 3 kids. So she was like, no, you need to leave. Rhonda only has 3 kids. And it was just this young woman, and she was very mad. And she was mad at her other mom and also mad at the fact that we had moved in. And so she's telling all these details of what she looks like and how she's telling her that she needs to leave and how she doesn't want to. And my mom's like, well, you don't need to tell her that she needs to leave because, we ended up adopting this young girl, and technically she is my daughter, and that would explain why she's mad that we moved and all this other stuff. So then that's when my mom realized that this lady is legit and knows what she's talking about, because there's no way she would have put all of that together, and it fits perfectly to the to the narrative. But
for people to like shrug that shit off and just be like, oh, coincidence. The coincidence is just a word made up by science for shit they can't explain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom reached out to the church. I don't know which church denomination the priest belonged to, but they went around with sage and like blessed each room, and it wasn't like a scary thing, but it's technically classified as an exorcism.
Okay.
There cleansing, right? It's like
Yeah. That was the
I don't know if you noticed when you walked in, we have a big sage by the front door.
I did notice.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
That's okay.
One of the first things I noticed.
Okay.
All right. And then after that, we all felt better. The room felt better. Nothing else happened, and it was kind of like our goodbye to my sister Christina.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that just nuts? And like you said, people shrug that stuff off, but those things happen, and there's someone comes out, does something, and there's a result, right? There was a result, and it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
it felt positive. I mean, kind of like,
I guess when you
we
think
were all there,
exorcism, you just think of like,
the throw up,
blood,
and
your
spinning.
pentagrams on the wall and fucking.
Well, nobody was
dripping
possessed,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm just saying you just kind of go there. But even the house, like Amityville was like this crazy, crazy shit going on. There's all this other stuff, but usually it's some kind of trauma or something that's happened. But I guess if you.
And we were all just like, it's okay, you can let go, and it was a weird thing, and it was kind of sprung on me because my mom didn't tell me she had reached out to mediums, and so when she kind of got that news, it just happened really quick. And so I walked in, and I had an improv show that night, and I'm like, what's going on? And then my mom basically explained the whole thing, and needless to say, it wasn't very funny. And then people just thought I was crazy. I'm like, we just had this happen to my house, and they were like, okay, Hannah, lay off the drugs. It's too soon. You're only in high school. You did good in the DARE program. I don't know, but yeah, it was just a weird little.
How was your mom after that?
Oh, and the medium said get rid of the couch. How
Oh,
freaking
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
How
was
weird. We
Well,
got rid of it.
So let me
God.
ask you this: did you like Craigslist it? Did someone else have the couch, or did you guys like get rid of it? Like, is the couch out there somewhere?
Did you give it like a Viking funeral where you like set it on fire?
Well, that's
You know
what
what?
I'm
I'm
saying.
gonna have to ask my dad.
Like,
Push
is
it out
that
to,
couch and like went to the Goodwill and now someone else has the couch?
I'm gonna have to ask.
Yeah,
I don't know what my dad ended up doing.
Well,
with
because
it,
if the
but
couch is what brought the energy, you know what I mean? You would
Yeah.
think like,
That's
what
the
form
fucking.
of getting rid of the couch? Like, where is the couch now? It's like, you know, like you see that. That's how
she
like.
was like, I definitely
Well,
get a
that's
weird
how like those
feeling.
movies start. Like someone goes up in the attic or does, you know, and opens
Yeah.
an old box and
It always has to attach itself to.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she was.
Well, that's like the Zach Baggins Museum. Like you have to sign a release in case there's like spiritual
Have you been there?
attachment. No, I won't go. I'm not doing that shit.
You gotta
It
go.
is. Have you been?
No, what is
No.
it? Where is it?
It's downtown Arts District.
It's not too
by
far.
The Stratosphere.
It's straight. Yeah, it's straight down over here. We're on like Charleston. It's like right down Charleston.
Is it right next to the bar
It's
in the lodge? Is it like right over there, like
I don't
just
know,
east of
it's
the
just not-
strip by the Walgreens?
just a couple blocks down on Charleston.
Okay, I
from
know.
here.
Okay, I've seen it. I
Mm-hmm.
have seen it, but I didn't go in it. Let's go field trip.
Well, dude, and I'm not like a Post Malone guy, but supposedly he went there and like didn't give the offering to the like the black box, or he touched it or some shit, and like dude almost like dies in his plane, like all this crazy shit starts happening to him.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, it was like something. I think it was Post Malone. I don't know. I don't follow him, but I just saw that, and yeah, he you know, he had that problem with his plane. Then he almost got like deathly food sick, ill or something like.
Yeah.
But
Well, what bugged me is that
when
one
you got to sign a release,
tickets are more for locals. FYI. No.
Locals got to pay more.
Yeah.
Boycott.
And
yeah, you're out
Straight
of
up
there.
fucking boycott.
You're out of there,
and,
jerk ball.
And like I said, nothing really scares me, and I really don't get freaked out. Like
I should go get tickets.
I
for
like
that
it.
thing.
I like paranormal. I like that kind of stuff. I'm always the one to be like, yeah, I'll touch it. I'll go into the room first, and I'll be the asshole. But
You'll be the one that gets sucked up by the alien fucking tractor beam.
I felt like some of it was super cheesy and super fake. And then I felt like, oh, he just collects really cool, creepy things. And then I'm like, I can't tell if this is real or not. We pulled up, and there was an ambulance outside because apparently this person didn't feel good in this room. Very lightheaded, whatever. I don't remember if it was the black box mirror or black box room or whatever. But that was kind of like, oh, this is weird. But I guess they call the ambulance a lot. But
People
when you
freak
walk
out.
in, and it's like they have like these midget actors, and they're doing like a kind of cheesy skit, and like, yeah, I get there
Kinda
has to be
ruins it.
like a
draw.
show,
Yeah.
a Vegas-y aspect to it. And you have like a tour guide, and they take you to other rooms, and I mean, like one room, it's just like a lot of cool, like Charlie Manson or murder stuff. It's kind of like the murder museum in
Gotcha.
LA. So it's like, oh wow, that's cool. You had Charlie Manson's tooth, or
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's bloody chair, or just like random cool
Just
things
weird
like
oddities.
that. Yeah, but like they claim like this doll talked, and it was on a sound of like a vibration kind of thing, and you can kind of hear it talk, so people would try to talk to it, but I felt like it was just on a recording, and felt like the museum curators were kind of like in on it, like, oh, she called me a bitch, and then you can kind of make out bitch now on the recording. So like things like that, I'm like, I think that's totally just a recording in a doll in a room. Like, I don't think it's anything, but at the same time, there were some really creepy rooms that you did feel weird in, because you could tell that there was just some artifacts that hold.
There's so much paranormal shit in this.
Well,
fucking
you ever hear about
state.
the haunted tours? There's like some haunted places around town, and there was a tour company used to take people on a bus to these like parks
Mm-hmm.
and these places. So I moved into this neighborhood. It was Pecos and Warm Springs, and there's a park right there. And I would get home from work every day. I'd come home. It'd be like 11 o'clock. I'd be coming by this park. And every fucking night there was a shuttle bus, like a big chartered bus at this park. And it was like people walking around the park at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like,
some Warm Springs. People,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the park over there, but
it's called Green Valley Park. It's a tiny little neighborhood park.
yeah, I think I know.
You could see it from Pecos. So if you're coming, if you're heading south
it's
through
on the
Warm
left?
Springs, it's on the left.
Yeah, okay.
So there was a shuttle bus there every fucking night.
Who died there?
And so I didn't know anything about what the shuttle bus was. And so one night, just after like 3 months of driving by this bus every night, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to pull over and talk to someone.
Say my ex lived not too far from there.
And I'm like, what are you guys doing here every night at the same time? And they're like, oh, we're from fucking so-and-so. And there's this park is haunted. There's a ghost here. And they're like, we come to see the ghost. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's already creepy. You know what I mean? Like it's dark out. And I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about this. And then some official guy comes over and he's got the little haunted tourist polo on. He's like, hey, bud, you're not part of the tour. You can't be here. And I'm like, dude, it's a fucking neighborhood park. I could be in the park, you know? And
Yeah.
he was like, I'm like, just tell me what the fuck is going on. So allegedly there was a kid that died in the park. And I guess you could see him riding his tricycle around the fucking park at night.
Get the fuck out of here.
And then down the street at Fox Ridge Park, which is just a mile or two away from this park, there was another thing where a kid died in an accident on the swings. And at nighttime, he swings the swing, and the swing fucking goes at night.
Have you seen
outta
it?
No, I never went over there because I'm like, I don't do it fucking freaks me out. You know, because I can't defend myself. If something's going to
Yeah.
happen, I'm just fucking done. You know, but I went back to that park.
Shoot a ghost kid.
That park became like my nighttime smoking spot. You know, like I'm going to go here. I'm going to sit on the park bench and smoke a joint and fucking try to catch this kid on there. It was a tricycle or something. We could look it up.
I'm going to see this motherfucker.
But I never saw anything there. Like I just never saw anything there. But then I looked. The guy gave me like the website, and there's like some other house over in the Southwest where like I guess some kid got attacked by bees and died, and they take him by there. And fucking, there's
My
a
girl.
What?
yeah. Like,
I
yeah,
kind of want to
Macaulay
do
Culkin.
this tour.
So I don't know if this was in 2004. So I don't know if they're still in business, but the park is still there. We could definitely go to the park. Both parks are still there. I don't know much. You know what I mean?
Let's go to the park tonight.
Dude,
Yeah, it's almost time. It's almost 11.
Oh,
you know,
fuck.
it's almost we can get there.
big, as I say, Bigfoot, when I was telling you I was talking with him.
The comedian?
No. He's a different Bigfoot.
Okay. When you said that, I thought you were talking about the comedian Bigfoot. I
You
was like,
found him?
No, yeah, I did, actually. I did.
He set the beef jerky trap.
Yeah.
But he wants to go out to Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
And
What's that?
in March, place out in Utah that's known for like alien and all sorts of weird shit happening out there. My buddy, he has a place out in Utah, and it's known for like UFO sightings and people disappearing and shit like that.
Oh, fuck.
They're still in business.
Who is?
This
Like
hauntedvegastours.com. Little shout out to them.
Oh, of course, dude. Fucking
Like there.
yeah. Fuck. Well, shit, dude. You think we should probably wrap it up? That's 2:30. I know. Is there anything you wanted to cover? We kind of went all over the place, but yeah. Anything else?
Tupac is still alive. For sure.
You think Tupac's still alive?
Maybe.
You got evidence? You got anything to corroborate this? No, I don't know. You know, I can't see pulling that. That's a long run.
There's no autopsy done.
Dude, those fucking tickets are $100.
For that?
We could just follow the bus.
Let's just
We could
follow
just
the
follow
bus.
the bus, dude.
Let's live record us following this bus.
I wonder how
and
many.
go-
I wonder how many,
The free ride.
I wonder how many people they take. I mean, if they're taking a.
It's a big ass bus, dude. Like you have to look at this website because you know more about the tour industry
like
than I do.
like a fucking 50-seater,
Yeah.
like a big Prevost.
You wouldn't do
Yeah.
it though, you said though. Would you? Like to follow the bus and just go
Well, I used to go to that park, like I said, and smoke by myself. I'd walk down there and
So
you
just
know,
pretend like you're gonna go smoke by.
yeah. I mean,
let's
I don't
go smoke in
want
this
to like
park.
poke at shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, not like enable.
yeah, I don't know,
Dude, when this what we'll do, man. When my buddy gets back into town, my buddy Miklo and my buddy Justin, they're the guys that do the dinner with the ghost shit. They're They're the guys that do all that
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
the ghost town operations. We'll do a little dealy with them, man. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we just do like a private little thing here and get that fired up. They put together a great spread.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, you see the dinner table that's set up. You're like, holy cow, dude! It's like a 7-course meal. We'll just do some hot dogs. That's our budget, dude.
Hot dog Hannah.
We'll get a couple. Yeah.
So
we'll
there's
get some
the
of
park.
those
It
links.
showed up. I put haunted park. That Foxridge Park showed up, and you see the swing set right there. Like,
Oh.
So there's something there. Like,
Do you see any
Did
image
you get
on the
anything
swing
on there?
set?
No.
no, this is. I just typed in haunted park Las Vegas, and the other park. See how it popped up the swing set,
Oh, God.
and that's the park right there. Yeah,
Jesus.
it was a little dog. And this is the other park right here. Actually, yeah, this is the park that was in my old neighborhood. And I can't remember the story about the one in my neighborhood for some reason, but something was going on there.
Dude, there's got to be so much haunted shit in this fucking town, man. I mean, unbelievable stuff has happened here.
Oh yeah.
From fucking people dying in these hotel rooms to God knows what, Just imagine what fucking kind of souls are lurking around the budget suites and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
people have offed themselves in those fucking places, dude. Ugh.
Yeah,
There's never been
here's,
a paranormal investigation at Hoover Dam, at least not like on record. Like they don't allow it. They won't allow any of that shit happening out there.
Why?
There's a lot of haunted stuff, man. I'm looking at the top 10 haunted places in Vegas.
What else is...
It's bad business, bad look.
Red Fox's house,
Yeah, yep.
Who's
the
that?
Westgate,
Dude, my buddy over at
Bonnie Springs Ranch.
there was a at the at Red Fox's deal. It's like office building and shit, dude, or like a it's like a. My buddy was a loan officer, and he was worked in the building, and he's like, dude, every night 9:00. He goes right before I'm about ready to wrap it all up stuff. He goes 9:00. I'm shutting down the whole thing. Sounds like there's a cocktail party at the back of this motherfucker, dude.
Where's that at?
Over by the place where Red Fox's house
On
was.
Eastern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's like Eastern and DI or some shit.
No, Russell.
Or yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't remember the exact streets, but he was like, dude, he goes, there would sound like there's a cocktail party there with all sorts of people. He's like, and then when you'd walk to the back, it'd just disappear. But he's like, you go up in the fucking front, and he's like, up where I worked and shit, dude. He's like, there would sound, you could hear speaker, like somebody talking over a speaker. You could hear like, he goes, you walk down the hall, disappear. You go back up in the front. 5 minutes later, it'd start all. He goes, it would never happen before like 9. He goes, but he goes, it sounded like a party. You could hear drinks clinging and shit like that.
So this says here, the one at the Foxridge Park, it says, stories claim that a young boy was killed by a drunk driver. Since his apparent death, the boy returns to the park to play on the swing sets. The best time to see the spirit of this young boy on the swing sets is midnight. But before considering seeing this young boy, take into consideration that many people who have seen this young boy say if you try to approach him, his eyes change and they feel he becomes possessed by a demon.
Oh, damn.
After
Okay.
the transformation, he simply disappears. If the boy's spirit does not appear, the swing sets still start to move on their own. That's at midnight. We could make that 10:20, but it's deep. It's deep in Green Valley. That's Foxridge Park. And
I
that
think
was.
we should plan
that
it out
every night?
one night.
Is that
though.
It
every
says
night?
midnight. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a nightly show or I don't. You know what I
I
mean?
think we should hit up a couple spots and like
I
plan
think we
it
should
out.
go and fuck with people that are there to see the ghost. Like hook up a fishing line to the swings. You know?
Yes.
Fucking.
I'm so down.
Dude, and then watch it like shut down the tour company.
I could bring like little Mikey and just fucking paint him up in like makeup and just have him ride a bike through the park and shit.
I'll do my possession.
Yeah, and you can come out and fucking yell at him. Nice little improv show.
I'll just dress like a homeless guy.
So that's the
smoking
one at
crack.
the park, and the one at the other
Just
park that I
masturbating.
see the bus at. It's not on here, but dude, it was the weirdest thing. Like I said, like. You know, you're deep in the suburbs out there, Pecos and Warm Springs. There shouldn't be charter buses in neighborhoods. You know what I
No,
mean?
totally, yeah, dude.
And like I remember, like every night I would see, and I remember telling my wife at the time, like, "This is weird." Like it felt weird. You know, like sometimes you'd be out there, and people would be
Does
like
that
having
park have
candles
like?
and
Does
shit.
that park
You'd
have
"What
like
the
a little
fuck?"
baseball diamond there?
It does, yeah. It's a little
Yeah.
baseball diamond, a basketball hoop, and mostly just grass, and it backs up to the railroad tracks.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Yeah, my my ex had lived in that neighborhood. It was like Pecos and Robindale.
Robindale's the next street. Yeah.
Yeah. Right in there, dude. Her daughter, she had a party at that park.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of barbecues and parties there and shit. It's weird. And I know a lot of kids, like I said, because I went.
But who finds that out?
Right. Well, I guess someone reports paranormal activity, and then people.
But I
come
mean,
out
the origins of that, dude. Like, where'd that come from?
And that's the thing too. Like, you look at all these haunted places, and a lot of them just have a story. Like, oh boy, who's the fucking boy?
Yeah.
What's the date of the accident?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Who is this fucking boy? Who's his family?
Well,
has the family been out there and seen him? You know what I mean? Like, well, if people are seeing the boy, right? Like, I showed you that picture of the ghost I got, and like people that knew that fucking person were like, "That's the fucking dude." Like, you have a picture of my friend, and I was like, "Fuck."
Oh yeah.
I was taking pictures one night of a car accident, and this guy was riding a motorcycle, and he got hit by a Hummer, and so we were out there taking pictures of for the news and stuff, and we get home and I'm looking at the pictures on my computer and I'm like, what the fuck is that standing next to the car? There's like something standing next to the car, and my buddy was like, dude, that's a fucking ghost. And I was like, no way, like we didn't get a picture of a ghost, whatever. And we started we put it out there and we put it on the internet and stuff, and then I reached out. His family actually reached out to me, like, we heard you have a picture of our son from the accident. And I was like, well, I don't have a picture of, the body. I have a picture of something standing next to the accident scene. And the mom was like, well, can I see it? And I was like, yeah. And I sent it to her, and she was like, oh my God, that's him. And I was like, whoa, that's fucked up. Like,
yeah, you showed me that.
I have right here. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, there's like the whole fucking thing there. That reminded me of something, but now I fucking forgot because we went deep down.
Do you do anything like that now? Like any? Because like I kind of just want to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, I'm actually getting back into it. Like I'm actually getting ready to go full, like, start doing that all over again.
I was gonna say that's one of the things
Can I
want to
tag along some nights?
That's one of the things I want to get sharp on, like video editing. Is I want to go out and do this and go, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on. That's one of the things we want to document this. Maybe even get a little something going where it's a routine thing. It's just chopping up the video. It's
open this picture now.
But yeah, there's a lot of paranormal activity in this fucking town. Like, shit's fucking nutso.
So see next to the passenger door, there's like something standing there.
What?
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Pretty weird, right? Some people say they see a baby standing next to him. I don't really see the baby, but I've seen people like have like circled the baby and like sent it back to me. But like his family didn't see the baby. But some people say they see two things there, but I just see the one guy.
I can see the two things.
You see the two things?
I didn't see a baby. I saw the dude.
It's so fucking weird. I mean, it's clear as day. There's an arm, there's a T-shirt, there's jeans. You could see his belt and everything.
Like, where am I?
And that's what he was wearing, was jeans and a black T-shirt.
Holy yeah, dude. I mean, dude, you can see like the short sleeves.
Yeah, you can see like everything.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
And then someone was like, "Oh, well, that must be like a cop was walking through the scene." And I'm like,
you can
that's
see
not
like
a cop, dude.
You can almost see the you see.
And
like,
anyone that knows me will tell you, like, my Photoshop skills, like, I couldn't pull that shit off. And not only could I not pull it off, but like, we put that out like seconds after the accident. Like, we were like mobile. We didn't have like a Photoshop or, you know what I mean? Like, and people have looked at that picture and been like, that's the original picture.
You can, it almost looks like his elbow on his right hand, like his right arm is like this. You can see like the arm on his like left arm, like the T-shirt. You can almost see like a shape of the head, like hairline. We got to that accident like before the paramedics. I don't see and the kid was still alive when we got there. And the crazy thing was no one realized that he was riding his motorcycle. He was doing like 100 miles an hour. There was a female on the back of the motorcycle that when he hit the Hummer, she got catapulted like 100 some yards away from the accident scene. And while we were there, we heard like moaning, and we were like, what the fuck is that? And it's kind of hard to see, but like there's like a 20-foot tall fence, and she was over the fence and like 100 yards into this parking lot and like mangled up.
And like
She
was
lived?
still, yeah, she lived.
Wow.
She was in the hospital for like 6 months, but she lived.
Fuck.
You know, but like we were like everybody was like gathered around, and like me and my buddy were like, trying to like set up like where we could be to get like shots and stuff. And then my buddy was like, dude, someone's in the parking lot. Like there's something over there. And I was like, no, that's like a dog chewing on something. Or like I thought it was like a dog chewing on a diaper or something in the parking lot. And he was like, no, dude, someone's over there. And then we realized, we looked at the fence, and you could see the top of the fence look like, you know, when you're like you would know, like, you know, when you see like the herd go through the fence and shit, and they're like, fuck the fence up.
Yeah.
Like the fence was fucked up, and I was like, oh shit. And then we realized there was like skin and clothing on top of the fence, like it had ripped off of her body. And like that was one of the most grimiest like shit ever. But
Oh
like,
man.
yeah, that picture
That's,
fucking creeps me out all the time.
That's crazy that you captured that.
So,
Yeah.
and that was
So
what made me like a
that's-
believer. Like that, I was
Yeah.
always on
That's
the like.
distinct right there.
No,
That is like distinct.
What would you do if you got to a crime scene or an accident before paramedics and you could tell someone? Would you try to help, or would you get in trouble legally if you tried?
Legally,
to help?
we're not supposed to, you know what I mean? But like if it was a thing where I could do something, I would definitely try to
Yeah.
like, you know, help. There was an accident right here. If you pull out of here and go, you know, Charleston and Maine. Remember I told you about that car accident? And this was the worst car accident I ever saw.
That was on my birthday,
Yeah.
and I know the guy that.
You know the driver.
Yeah, I know the driver.
And it was
the
early
cause
in the
of it.
morning, and we had just come back. There was like a homicide, and we were out, and you know, because we used to hang out here and then go from here because it's like central. And so we come back here, and we were like, everyone's cars were here, and they were like going to leave. And we're standing outside, and this used to be a, you know, it's one way now, but before it was one way, you can go, you know, north and south. So this guy, he was in a fucking car, and we were standing outside on the doorstep, and he went past us so fast that like the fucking wind from his car actually like knocked us back. And we were like, whoa, like that fucking dude was flying. And then like seconds later, we hear just this big explosion.
Green BMW.
And we're like, what the fuck? Like that dude must have just gotten a wreck. There's a bus company right there on, well, I don't think it wasn't their bus, was it? It was another bus. But it just happened in front of a bus company.
Yeah,
There
it's
was
a tour company.
There was a tour company pulling out, and he hit the fucking tour bus, and everything blew up. Everything just fucking
up.
I have pictures of it too. Like it was fucking nuts. Like everything just
He has
blew
the
up.
most gangster. It's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
Those pictures.
And so we get there like seconds after this happens, and there's people in the bus on fire, like burning.
No.
And we're like, oh my God, like there is not one fucking thing we can do, you know? And like we just watched like 4 people die, like right there. And the dude lived. That's the craziest part. The fucking drunk driver was like up and walking around.
yeah, he
like-
was totally on. Yeah, he's.
He didn't even realize he was driving. He was like, oh my God, what happened? And we're like, dude, what the fuck? You know, like, because he was banged up from like the airbag, and I think he broke his arm and shit. And, you know, and he was like, oh my God, did I get hit by a car? And like, people were like, no, dude, you fucking did this. Like, you're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, but it was like fucking crazy. But like, people were like on fire in the bus and trapped. It was like the worst shit
That's
ever.
awful.
You know, so,
Yeah.
you know, like we've been a couple times, and there was another time I got to an accident scene. I was at, it was actually a murder, and I was at my daughter's gymnastics place, and I had my little earpiece in, I was listening to the scanner, and I hear there's a assault and battery with a deadly weapon comes out over the scanner, and then I hear the dispatch is telling the officers, it's called PR. That's person reporting. So they say the PR states that the victim was stabbed like 20 times. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like a block away from there. So I get there first, like before, like the witnesses that saw it were there, and then me, and no cops or anything. And it was a woman, and her ex had showed up at Walgreens and fucking murdered her in front of her daughter. And she was still alive when we got there, and there wasn't nothing anybody could do. Like, she was like seconds away from dying, and then we got there, and then she passed away, and it was like insane, you know. And they caught the guy, like, as a matter of fact, they caught the guy 2 blocks away from here at the bus station. You know, the big, whatever here on Casino Center, the whatever it's called, the big bus station. But they caught the guy there that did that. So it's crazy. But like now that the scanners are turned off, we're not as fast on those as we used to be.
They turned off? Or like
They
you just
encrypted it so you can't listen, like the public can't listen. Because when you said you were listening to the scanner, you were listening through an app, right?
No, actually, one of the buddies, it was my boyfriend's roommate who is Metro in training, so he had
A real scanner.
And he was
Okay.
just like, dude, shit's going down right now. And
Yeah.
we were both like, what?
Yeah, that's nuts. But so they encrypted those scanners so the public can't listen anymore. But we used to get to a lot of scenes. Like, remember that house fire I showed you? Where, like, we were there filming and then the fire department showed up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I put that music to it and everybody got mad at me and shit, you know? But,
Yeah, that was,
you know.
yeah, that's funny, dude.
But, you know, so we used to get to, like, anything that was, like, downtown, we would get there super fast because we would always be here. Or if it was, like, in my neighborhood at home or if I just happened to be somewhere and saw something. But,
No, I just find it's still crazy to me that like that wreck, that the tour bus wreck, you know, like I drove by that, because I do the tours, I drove by that, like they were like just done putting the fire out, you know, it was like early in the morning, and like he caught these pictures and I got to witness it, and then at the same time I know the dude that was the cause of it, you know. Not like I know him like really, really good, but I knew him well enough. I had his number; it was in my phone.
Oh,
you know what I mean. Yeah, that's just a fucking crazy place.
I've been in 8 car accidents, all not my fault.
Woo!
driving, passenger, both?
Mainly driving. Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. So, and
You got angels.
I got angels. That's
got
for sure.
angels.
But I always had this theory that I was gonna just die in a car. But
It's kind of crazy. That's always been my thing, and I've been in a couple of doozies, but yeah.
the worst one, I was in a snowstorm
Ooh.
in Wyoming on a mountain, on a hill, and this semi going the opposite way. First off, it's a whiteout. You can't see anything. Where I'm already white-knuckled, driving very, very slow. Luckily, like, you kind of have a driving partner that you kind of can follow or have follow you. So
No.
you can kind of make sure you can see each other and stay on track together. And then this truck.
You go first.
It wasn't a, like, semi, but it was like slightly smaller than that. It was driving. It just hits a patch of ice and hits me head on.
Oh, wow.
And luckily, the people driving behind me didn't see, but I it was crazy because I almost was then gonna roll down the mountain, but then it was a whiteout, so not that many people could see. There was no cell phone reception, so yeah, I mean, I made it out safely. Just had a concussion. And
Jeez Louise.
I mean, at the time you're like, what do I do? I mean, luckily the guy had to just drive really fast and get cell phone service to call 911. But
Jeez,
I mean,
buddy,
I had post-traumatic
yeah, how long?
syndrome with that.
How long before you were comfortable in a car again?
It took, well, it wasn't so much driving as it was driving in the snow. And unfortunately, my dad, oh, you're good. My dad wasn't very sympathetic. And he was getting tired of driving me around. And
You got to get on
there
that
wasn't
horse.
Uber or anything like that. So unfortunately, my dad kind of just made me have to get over it. But it took a while. That's when I started like really smoking a lot of weed.
To get over. Well, hey, got you back on the old road, huh?
Yeah, and then
Back in the saddle, as they say.
the second most traumatic was I was just driving to work, and I was going 45, nothing crazy, and then this red truck, it was just an old couple on a stroll. The guy started swerving and turns right in front of me.
In weather or?
And no, it was perfect normal weather.
Oh, wow.
He was just old and out of it, and I don't know what happened. He swerved.
Nodded off.
Something, maybe, yeah. And I mean, it wasn't a busy road. It was just kind of one of those roads that you just you drive on for a while, and swerves right in front of me, and then I ended up T-boning them. I'm all right, but I get out of the car, and I mean, it's an old truck. I don't think they were wearing seatbelts. They were on the bed of the truck, bleeding and non-responsive.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm trying to call 911. Also try to see what I could do to save their life, like trying to wake them up, and
Oh my gosh.
and even though it wasn't my fault, I you don't really get much closure, but I know they went to the hospital and they were fine there. I don't know how much longer they lived after that, but that was definitely a doozy.
Well, I would just have to. This is how I would chalk it up. They were breathing when they left me. That's all I can say from that. They were breathing when they left me because I might have knocked them unconscious, but they were still breathing. Family could have making the proper arrangements. I'm not trying to be callous to the situation, but Mikey, you went and dug deep, did you?
I just got the picture of that wreck down the street there. That was that was insane.
That's
this isn't the tour bus one.
Yeah, that's the tour bus one. That's like right there too. That's like a half a block.
That's almost like that. It's almost like that dude that set himself on fire. That's like that epic. That like Buddhist. Let me see it again.
Fire.
I didn't show her the gruesome. Do you want to see the gruesome one?
Kinda.
Oh,
you sure? It's really bad.
How bad? Oh. Okay.
Let me see it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's on Charleston, dude. That's in the middle of the city.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
there's someone who has to pick that up.
Like, this dude came out of the bus. You know what I mean? Like, it was like fucking... like that's shit you see like only in like video games and like Rob Zombie movies and shit.
That shit you see in other countries where they're like there's a lynching where like they set a child
type shit.
Yeah, they set a child molester on fire, or what do they call that? The Nigerian necktie.
Colombian necktie.
The Colombian necktie is where they slice you.
There's a Nigerian necktie.
It's like the Nigerian necktie or necklace or something like that. Where they put a fucking a tire around you and they set that shit on fire.
Oh wow!
They put a tire around your neck and they fucking.
There's a doctor.
I forget exactly what it's called, but everybody's talking about Winnie Mandela, Nelson Mandela. She was like a fucking that was like her like delivery service of like.
I came across this Instagram page, and I guess it's a thing, and I don't know how this lady gets away with it, but she's a doctor. And she posts stuff.
But yeah, that picture is just like a burning corpse. It's crazy. What?
I'm trying to find. I can't find this fucking doctor.
What?
But there's a doctor that posts like emergency room photos of her patients on Instagram, and like that's totally against like what is it, HIPAA?
The Hippocratic Oath. Yeah.
Yeah, like fucking you can't like fucking.
No, that's a privacy thing, dude. It has to be even
How
after
come
death.
She hasn't.
Even after
had an
death,
issue with posting it.
I'm trying to find it. I don't know if she's like here's the Instagram page. It's fucking grimy. Like it is fucking. And she's a doctor. Like I don't know how.
What?
Yeah, like and that's like her patients and shit. And those are like fucking people. Like you see, like it's emergency room pictures, and it's like a big account. I don't know if someone's feeding those.
I mean, you can see that some have like the little. Blocked.
Like this one.
Is there a watermark or something? Or
this one here is a car accident.
Why you got that?
Oh my god!
And like
this is on. This is on here.
Yeah, have you seen that?
No.
Like look at that.
Oh
it's
my
the
God.
fucking like. But then the next post after that is like the patient survived and is like stitched up and in the hospital, like out and like being like I don't know.
But is that necessary? Is it necessary?
That's what I'm saying. Like.
Oh, dude, I remember. I'm good. I remember I saw this.
But
one
see the
picture.
next post. Look, she's like recovering, and I'm like, how is
Who would
that
wanna
legal?
recover from that,
Like,
though?
how the fuck is that? Like, how can she post these things?
Maybe there's consent. Is she doing it?
She's not even conscious.
No,
like,
no consent. If she's got it after she has a
maybe
before
it's a
and
year
after.
ago, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe if it's a before and after kind of deal. But
I don't know.
I saw this one picture people were posting on fucking on Facebook, and it was like this car wreck in the some kind of wreck in the fucking
Oh, like in the I saw
in
that.
the mountains when the severed bodies.
Yeah.
And they're like, I was like, yo, and they're like, they were like all in shock. Like the kid, you can tell the bodies were cut in half, and they're like, it was crazy, dude. The amount of like just
Fucking workplace accident. This lady got her ponytail ripped off.
yeah,
Like-
I don't need to be seeing that. I'm good on that. I'm
Like,
trying to avoid that
fuck.
in my life. Like,
Dude, like, you know, I came across this page and I was like, dude, it's got like 200,000 followers. I was like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
dude.
Isn't
See,
it weird?
I don't need that. I don't need that vibration in my life, dude.
Yeah,
you
it's
know what I
like
mean.
crazy.
It's
And
like,
it's not like they're all medical professionals.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like when we were like really like out, like, you know, doing the in the field media stuff, me and my buddy would always be like, fuck, dude. Like we would hear it on the scanner and be like, dude, there's a car accident. There's people trapped in the car. And it's like, what are we pulling up to? You know what I mean? Like, fuck, I don't want to see this shit. You know, and then you want to like take pictures that the media can use. So you don't want to like, you know what I mean? Like you can't just like show like what she's showing, you know, but so you try to get like a somewhat picture of the wreckage,
Right.
you know, but then like even then like once those go online, like people are like, oh my god, that's my aunt, or you know, my cousin died in that accident, take it down. It's like, oh shit.
yeah, dude. You know,
brutal.
it's a thin line.
Wow.
Yeah, you know. Fucking. I don't know. It's different.
I feel like we need. I'm like down.
It's like,
I'm
no,
like, oh God, I'm
no,
afraid to drive home.
You still want to come out?
no, but like you know, I've come across some stuff, you know, like that in my life, you know, like live stuff, not that, but pretty messed up dead body, you know, and it's different live than it is like just seeing it on like social media site when like I can look away or I don't know, like and
It's not real.
well, I'm
I feel
just
like
taking
on
I'm taking in something I'm not in front of. I don't have to see.
Right.
You know, like there was one time I was driving home and there was just we were exiting. I was driving from north. We were going to I had an apartment on Rainbow and Smoke Ranch, kind of right over there. And we were exiting the freeway off of 95, coming down over onto Rock Springs. There's like a In-N-Out Burger and all that shit over there, right? And we just passed it. And as we're driving, we're turning left on the Lake Mead to go to Rainbow to go back down to our house the way we exit or whatever. I see this big fucking puff of, you know. I'm like, dude, I go, that wasn't there a second ago.
Yeah.
I go, we were just there. We didn't hear anything. Or I go, we got to go back. And my roommate's, no, dude. He's like, no. I go, dude, I don't know why, but we got to go back, dude. Like, go back there. And we really didn't need to. I just had, I don't know why. You know, it's the, I guess that's the white,
the gut.
that's the white side of me.
Yep.
You know, let's go investigate. You know, and we double back. You know, and a bunch of people coming out of the apartments that were right there and all stuff like that. And there's fucking old boy, just body twisted in half, fucking legs bent all this that way, face down in the rocks.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean? I was just like,
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, even with all those
Yeah.
pictures, like going back to where we started, like all those pictures that we have, like I don't get leaked pictures from like cops from crime scenes. You know what I mean? Like, so those
Yeah.
paddock pictures are fucking bogus.
no, totally, dude.
Totally fucking bogus, dude. They're fucking like just, you know what I mean? Like I have a lot of sources. You know what I mean? Like I've dug deep into like getting stuff. You know what I mean? Like I have people send me pictures and shit like that all the fucking time. Like we don't get that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to risk their jobs. It's really easy to say, okay, well, there were 7 of us in the room.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been you that took the picture. You know what I mean? You were the only one that was that close to the body.
Right?
Like,
Yeah,
you're
dude.
fucking fired.
They would easily. Hey,
Yeah.
Well, hey, maybe maybe that's the dude they fucking pinned the fucking child porn on.
You never know. You know what I mean? But those guys make a lot of money. Like if you ever look up what those guys make, they're all making
Yeah.
over $150,000 a year. All
Well
those, like,
over that, yeah,
those
dude.
SWAT guys and all those like their overtime hours are like through the roof. It's insane. They're not going to risk that to send out a picture from a crime scene of a dead guy.
They
No
know.
fucking way.
They know the protocol.
Because there'd be more stuff like that out there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, there'd be more leaked homicide pictures and stuff.
If there wasn't.
If that was a thing, like, and
Yeah.
it's not a fucking thing.
No, dude, there would man. Other than getting shot in the head with a 22,
It's not like some
everything's gonna
independent
mangle
medic.
the fucking back end of that deal.
You know who leaks pictures like that? Is fucking medics that work for private companies, like fucking Community Ambulance and AMR.
Or
Like,
the people that they call to remove the body.
yeah, those who leak those pictures. You know what I mean? And they weren't in there when there was all that shit going on.
Those
like
are the
that.
people that fucking rent the bodies out for people to fuck them before they fucking.
What was that movie? There was a
Really?
movie about that.
It's been, dude, there's been a
I
lot of that
actually
been
have
going
a friend.
on.
I actually
There's been
have
a lot of that
friend
going
does
on
that.
lately. That girl down in Arizona that got pregnant was in a coma.
Oh my God, she was in a coma for like 13 years and just ends up pregnant.
Yeah, dude. And then the caretaker, like one of the janitors, it was the dude that fucking that got her fucking pregnant, dude. And you see this fucking dude, you're like, what in the fuck is this dude? Like,
Did he look like a
That's
normal
so-
person?
no,
He looked
dude.
like someone that would do that.
Dude, yeah, the guy
Oh
took
my
looked like a total fucking. It was just like this black dude, fucking just a sloppy,
Yeah.
creepy character with like bug eyes. He had
Bookman,
like
the janitor.
one eye's fucking pointing southwest, the other
That's
one's
the lookout
going,
eye.
Yeah,
That's
no,
the
dude.
lookout eye. He's evolved that.
Yeah, no, yeah, dude. Gecko, yeah, dude. This total like what in the fuck? But there's that, and then there's been some other people who've been like, you know, there's been some with necrophilia and shit. It's been
That's insane.
people getting popped lately.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. You know, my whole thing, if I'm gonna be banging somebody, I want this was the game plan back in the day. Banging was to lay down the pipe so good with somebody that they would go tell their friends. You know what I mean? Like you go get the referral action, you go get the good praise. You know,
That good Yelp review.
yeah, dude. Like you want them to be awake for the performance. You know, like I don't get the whole.
Well, those guys aren't getting those kind of girls.
Nah, I guess
So
so.
they're fucking dead girls. That's
Yeah,
insane.
it's fucking crazy, dude.
Ugh.
I have a joke about.
Can someone walk me to my car tonight?
Yeah, luckily it's right here, right? Yeah. But yeah, I have a joke about. There's a sex doll rental company
Oh,
that says they will make a replica of a past loved one. And I was like, why go to all the trouble? Why didn't you just get a taxidermist? Yeah, just fucking some stuffing for the stuffing. Yeah. But yeah, we should probably wrap it up. But that's a high
Oh,
note right
God.
there. This
ended on the
some
necrophilia.
yeah, it's a fucking no bullshit. Yeah, hey, who do you think's fucking requested that here in town? What kind of fucking high roller, big wig, or Vegas Illuminati is done some shit like that, right? Because there was did you hear about that? I know we're trying to sign off here, but we talked about it lightly. Did you hear about that shit that you know how Sacha Baron Cohen was doing that that whole thing with Who is America or whatever, he's got that show, but they came to Vegas and he was acting like a crazy Saudi or a crazy like a Middle Eastern dude who was trying to procure children, you know,
Really?
for like sex, and like the concierge was like, "Oh, I got people. What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Well," he goes, "Well, first I got a problem. I got one I need to keep quiet." And he goes, "Oh, I got people. We'll take care of that, you know." But he's like, and he goes, "Well," he goes, "I don't want to kill him." He goes, "Oh no, this ain't that." He goes, "No," he goes, "We got lawyers that whoever's trying to come out, they'll never be able to fucking speak out against you." And supposedly the film crew reported that to the FBI, and so far nothing has come about it or anything at all. But if they're able to like, if some dude's talking about shutting down kids and procuring kids for somebody on a casino level, wow, there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
in this
that's
motherfucker.
crazy.
You know,
It's a big
That's
trafficking city here.
oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
One of the biggest, I think.
Well,
It's
you know,
big.
one of the things here is not too far from here. You go down to Greyhound, you watch these little fucking fresh off the farms come in. You know what I mean?
What do you
watch
mean?
these. You watch these girls that come in from these broken spots. They got just enough money for a fucking bus ticket to Vegas and enough for a sandwich. They come over here. You go. There's pimps down there. These dudes down there fucking just farming, fishing for fucking fresh meat coming to town in those places.
Oh, they come
Yeah.
through here, bro. They come through here all the time. Don't forget.
Yeah,
We're in the bail bonds
I know.
office.
Yeah.
We're in the bail bonds office. Don't forget.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, and it's just stuff like, fuck. Man, sometimes sometimes I'd love to just get like, if we can get somebody on that you've like bailed out just to talk about their journey to Vegas, like let them not even know that what they're.
We
exposing
have
to.
the dancers coming on.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a journey to Vegas, right?
I mean, we have two 10-year topless dancers. They've been doing it for 10 years coming on to talk about that industry and all the creepy shit and fucking all the propositions and all the fucking
That'll
just
be a good one.
all the scoop, you know what I
fuck.
mean? All the fucking scoop they had.
See, and I know some shit. I've been around some shit, seen a little shit,
Yeah.
but compared to probably what they've seen, I ain't seen them. I don't know a fucking thing about life. You know what I mean? Like, seriously.
I have a client. She's one of the higher end escorts, and she's one of these Instagram girls that has like 1 million followers, and you see her. She's in Thailand and Dubai, and that's all fucking sugar daddy money. Like fucking and she gets, she was telling me she gets like $50,000 a month.
I know. Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, and just hops
That's
on
a
these
good,
private.
like, that's not even a good month.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
she like hops on these private jets and,
Where do I sign up?
She's like fucking, she's like in
so-
Dubai, like, and then the next week she's like in Thailand and she's in Tokyo and she's here. And you're like, fuck, this girl's living the life. And she's getting like $50,000 a month, or
but
more.
do you think there's some deep, dark shit to it? Or do you think she's, like, not happy? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, the thing, like, I just keep telling her, like, hey, this life has a shelf life. You know what I mean? Like, just put away. You know what I mean? Like, I know you drive a Bentley and all this other, you know what I mean? Like save some of this fucking money, because once you hit like 35, you know what I mean? Like, they want the younger girls. Like,
Yeah.
you're just
Beauty
getting
or
replaced.
they get
Doesn't
or they
last
get
very
fucking or they get fucking like swindled, fucking tricked out of their shit. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what I mean. So
Yeah.
I would tell them, like, just you're getting that money. Just hope just don't be broke when you're 40. Don't be the girl that was fucking in every city and every fucking different day. Another hot spot in the world, and then be broke when you're 40. Like, that'd be dumb if you're getting $500,000 a year for a couple years straight, and then you're just broke.
dude, it's
Good money, but I couldn't do it.
well, if you have an exit strategy, there you go.
I mean, my wife deals. She's a dealer. She deals high limit baccarat, and a lot of her players play like anywhere from like $100,000 to $400,000 a hand, and they offer her money all the time. And she's just a fucking dealer. Like, she's not even dressed like in a fucking sexy outfit. She's in a tuxedo. So imagine when that guy leaves the tables and hits the strip club. You know what I mean? Imagine what he's fucking offering.
Dude, my I was gonna say that was one of the things is my ex was a dealer at the Wynn, and she was totally straight laced. But then when she started working over there, she started doing coke and doing all.
Yeah.
She got all fucked off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And she's trying to keep up with it. And I was like, I could only imagine the fucking dudes trying to throw it at her there, because she was a hot fucking.
They have like
Filipino
rules. They're
chick,
not
yeah.
allowed to like go upstairs. We're not even allowed to stay there as like a guest, at her hotel. So, like I said, the strippers have no rule. They just exchange phone numbers and meet up later. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
I watched him do a hooker sweep one morning. I didn't know they do that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
that
they're
was
huge.
that's first for me. Very
Yeah.
entertaining.
The phones go crazy. 6 a.m. They start calling from the jail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck, yeah.
Get me out. Get me out. Da, 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 da. And then you call the pimps, and the pimps like, that bitch got caught. Fuck her. Leaving her behind. I'm
So
like,
what is
damn.
your role when they call?
I try to just find the money. Who's going to get you out? Who's your co-signer? Who's going to pay me to get you out of jail? So, there's a lot of times, like, it sucks, too. Like, I used to tell this on stage, too, and then I stopped telling it because it just got old to me. But, like, I remember one time I called this guy, and I was like, hey, sir, and he was somewhere, I don't know, North Dakota, Wyoming, somewhere, you know what I mean? And I was like, hey, sir, this is my name, and I own this bail bonds office. Your daughter's been arrested, and she wanted to know if you would bail her out. And he was like, oh, I knew she was going to get in trouble. She went there for the girls' weekend in Vegas and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, she got in trouble. And he's like, well, what's she in jail for? And I was like, soliciting prostitution. And he was like, well, that's strange. She's such a good-looking girl. Why would she need to solicit a prostitute? And I was like, no, sir, you don't understand. Your daughter is the prostitute. And it was like such a because I'm a dad. I have 2 daughters. You know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck, I'd hate to be hearing this.
Yeah.
And I knew he was going to react, so I just let him fucking yell at me and scream. And he was like, you're full of shit. You're fucking scamming me out of money. Where is she? Put her on the phone. And I'm like, dude, she's in jail. I don't know what to fucking tell you. You know what I mean? But, if she calls back, I'll try to 3-way you. But, she just wanted to know if you'd, post her bail. And he was like, you're a piece of shit, and I don't know how you fucking sleep at night, you cocksucker. I was like, hey, man, at least I didn't raise a fucking whore. It just hung up on him. I was like, I had enough and shit. But, it was like, that was like one of I remember that call like it was yesterday, and that call was like 12 years ago. It was like heartbreak. It was the first time I had to tell a dad, hey, man, your daughter came to Vegas, and she's a fucking hooker.
Yeah, man.
And she was like 20 years old, you know what I mean? And then we bailed her out. And she came in, and she was like the nicest, like most innocent looking girl, but then she was like being sweet. And then finally she snapped, and she was like, fuck, I got to get back to the hotel. I was like, why? She was like, I ditched his Rolex in the trash can. I got to go back and get it before they switch out the bags. And I was like, fucking bitch, you fucking stole that dude's Rolex, you piece of shit.
Wow.
So that's like a thing, and that's what there's levels to that prostitution shit,
Yeah.
There's like the grimy street level, and then there's like the high end.
Well, that's the thing is
and everything in between.
There's like a certain that's why they get treated so bad. They get and then they stick around, and they're in that lifestyle, and that's because it's just they're in for the shallow, the bullshit. They're into the we talked about this. They're the trinkets. They're into the fucking bling.
Material shit.
Yeah, and that just leaves you wide open for so much abuse.
Oh yeah.
You know, that just leaves you wide open just to be completely fucking.
Kind of sad.
Yeah, no, and there's people that just they aspire to that.
Yeah.
Like fuck, like it's.
No, I know. I have clients that they're like proudly say they're like 4th generation prostitute.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They're like
the
4th.
oldest.
Yeah, like fucking. And you hear, but then with that comes like these stories of them being, raised by pimps and fucking pimped out at like 13, 14 years old and sex trafficked and, held against their will in places. And you know what I mean? It's like, fuck, what a, like, how could
counseling.
how could you as a mom introduce your children to this lifestyle? You know what I mean? It's one thing if you got wrapped up in it.
Oh,
how does this go on for 4 generations?
Dude, did you see the video? Speaking of that, the video that's been going around, I think I remember seeing it before, or at least a while ago, or something similar. But a young black girl, I think she's like 16, maybe 15, something like that. I know she's underage. And she tells her mom, she sets up the camera, and she tells her mom that her mom's boyfriend comes in and is fucking with her, And the mom pretty much turns on her.
Yep.
And
that's a thing.
And she's like, don't be saying no shit, da da da. She goes, well, what'd you do? How was you dressed? What was you doing? Why are you wearing them shorts? She goes, well, you gave me these shorts. Why are you wearing around? You're trying to steal my man. He's a good man. And I was like, yo, dude, this dude's like, like seriously, like wouldn't you like kind of just, but you know what she said? She said he's a good man. He be doing she goes he'd be doing me right and he'd be paying these bills.
I was gonna say it leads up to money.
And I was like, yo, really, dude? Like, but you know what? Here's the thing, though, man. I will say this, dude. I've been around girls who would flirt that line before. When I was growing up, my friends, sisters and stuff, they were with dudes way older. You know what I mean? Like, so I could see, maybe something there, whatever. But my younger sister, dude, like, there'd be times I'd be out with her and I'd be like, what in the fuck? Like, I don't want to be out with her because every dude's staring at her because, like, how she's, she's dressed. And I was just like,
yeah.
Like, if like the dude's in there, king of the household, man, like, and
we had a
but
client.
to not stick up for your daughter.
We had a client one time that was his daughter lives here, goes to UNLV, and the dad was in town for like a convention, so he flew in town, and he like told his daughter like meet me for dinner, and she's like super attractive, good looking girl, and they meet up for dinner. They're going to dinner at one of the casinos. I can't remember which one. But the dad gets arrested walking through the casino with his daughter because they just assumed she was a fucking hooker. And they both got arrested, the dad and the daughter. No. She got arrested for being a prostitute, and he got arrested for soliciting fucking whatever. You know what I mean? And, like, I remember, like,
How
the
did
mom.
they prove that?
They don't. They don't have to. They just arrest you. Like, when they do those sweeps, if they're out, they just like, oh, here's a fucking, hot-ass chick with an old man in a casino. They must be fucking.
Oh, I hope they sue.
They sued. They and everything, whatever. But it was like, the mom called me, and the mom was like, this is fucking crazy, and I'm out of town, and this and that. I got to bail both of them out, and blah, 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 and then like.
Unless.
They came in here to the office, and I was like, fuck, dude. The dad was like in tears. He's like, I am embarrassed. Oh. And he was like, I'm a fucking legitimate businessman. He goes, when this case gets thrown out, it's still on my record.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
He's like,
No,
it's still
100%.
on my fucking record. He goes, and I'm with my fucking daughter.
Yeah,
And
man.
he was like, my life. He goes, if this gets out in my hometown, my life could be fucking ruined. He goes, and what are they going to do? I got to explain it when I was with my daughter, and they're going to believe me? You know what I mean? And I was like, fuck, that's crazy.
How can they be so quick to jump to conclusions on that? Like,
they do all the time. Yeah, they do all the time. And like you hear these stories, like when we do like the guys that come here and get arrested for like, they talk to the undercover woman cop that's posing as a prostitute. Yeah. They're like, I just said hi to her. I just bought her a drink. And a lot of times it's the truth. Yeah. Like a lot of times, like, it's innocent flirting. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you were at the bar and you're by yourself and like, I'm out of town. Hey, you want a drink, whatever. And that's all it takes. Like, oh, you're soliciting a prostitute.
Whoa.
And like you hear those stories a lot.
That worries me because I feel like I'm so gullible or just naive to things out here because I'm not used to things
if you're
like that.
And that's the thing too, like if you're an attractive woman, not even an attractive woman, if you're just like wearing your favorite dress, you know what I mean, and it's a killer dress,
and you hold yourself well,
yeah, and you're like walking confident, and you're looking good and stuff, and maybe it's you and one of your girlfriends, they could just arrest you for being prostitutes. They could just, you're not from here, you don't live here, you got out-of-state ID, what are you doing in Vegas? Okay, here, let's go to jail for the night, you're a prostitute.
Well, you want to know what's crazy is like when you go on speaking of the prostitutes in Vegas, when you go to places where there's a known stroll, right? You have these prostitutes, they're like straight NPCs. You know what I mean? They're like fucking walking just mindlessly down the fucking strut, doing the strut, and like one's getting arrested, like right across the street.
Yeah.
And they're still walking like it's not even happening. Just.
Yeah, they're following orders.
Holy shit, dude. Like, isn't that like the roaches, like when the lights come on, like you scatter? You know what I mean? Like, you see one getting arrested, like, get the fuck out of Dodge. The heat's on. Like, the fucking gig is up. Like, why is that?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
fearlessness.
I ain't got shit that, you know what I mean? Like,
maybe they're all.
But sometimes too, like
something.
some of these girls are really smart. They know how to talk to the cops. And then you have the other ones that are like, fuck you, I'm not showing you my ID. You know, like every video on Facebook nowadays. You know, those are the ones that get fucking arrested fast. So I don't know. You know, like I don't know. It's fucking weird down there. I don't like hanging out down there.
It's so weird.
But like that's the thing too. Like
lifestyle.
like but just a lot of people get arrested for, you know, trying to pick up a prostitute when, like I said, they're just innocent flirting with an undercover cop. You know, or the other way around. You know, the cops talking to the girls. You know what I mean? Like if you let a guy buy you a drink and then they could say, oh, well, she's a hooker. What the fuck?
Oh God.
You know what I
Dude,
mean?
one of my buddies now, when we were bartending back in the day, I worked at this bar at Monte Carlo, and it was a nice bar. It was called the Houdini Lounge, and we had working girls, and this is like at the tail end of like the class end of like working girls in Vegas, where if they pulled somebody off the bar and you know they'd get them to spend money, tip and shit like that, and when they would come back down, they'd come back, get a drink, or they come back, throw a fucking tip on the bar, right? And a couple of times it'd be like a few $100. Like,
For sure, because they want to be in your good graces,
Right.
They don't want you calling security.
So
Now I'm like, I give good tips because I'm nice.
but yeah,
You start handing out $100 bills.
Because I'm like, I know I'll be drunk by the end of the day. Like, I'll probably be annoying. Just
No, but one of the guys I work with, and you know, they said you know you don't want to
accept it.
well, you don't want to be associated, whatever, what have you,
Cahoots.
like. Yeah, so they would know how to approach as far as when it come to gratuities and stuff. So many of times have I been on the bar and someone's come up and say, "Hey man, where's the ladies at?" I'm like, "Dude, there's ladies all around. Fucking lady right there, you know." And just point them out, just whatever, what have you, you know. And some of them are working, some of them are not, but there's ladies around, you know. Well, there's been times where I point out dudes, and dudes have obviously, you know, went to a prostitute, you know, whatever. I'm like, oh, just somebody I pointed out. And then all of a sudden they'd come back and, you know, I'd get tipped or whatever. But my buddy did the same thing, something I'd probably done maybe 100 times, right? 5 years on the strip, at least 100 times. And I've warned people too. I'm like, dude, I don't think you know what you're getting into. You know what I mean? I've like warned many people, right?
Like, do they point to ask for prostitutes or just like, oh, hey, like, we're the...
Well, it's kind of like somebody that's like feeling out like who's got the coke, like who likes to party, you know? Anybody likes to party, you know, whatever. It'd be
The
kinda
subtle
like,
hints like that?
oh, yeah. When
Oh
it
my
comes to
God.
like working, it'll be like, oh, yeah. And so, but my buddy pointed out a dude to a chick, right? It was like, dude, I don't know the context of like the conversation or anything, but according to him, you know, he just was like, oh yeah, no, there's a girl right there. Talk to her. It was a prostitute. It was a cop. Boo bam. Fucking my buddy got busted for pimping.
Oh shit!
Right?
It's
And,
a tough charge.
and they're like, yeah, dude, and he got he like loses. This is how bad this is, right? He's like this. He's a Mexican dude that came over, right? And he fucking, you know, he's paying for his family, he's just doing all the right things and shit like that, dude. He's a partier though. He's a greaseball. You know what I mean? He's throwing the dick around here and there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, actually, when you get a little couple drinks, he starts getting touchy-feely on you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yo, dude, Hector, bro. You know, he's up on the back rub. You know what I mean? Like, especially the lower back. You know what I mean? Like, and but he, good guy, family guy, and this that. Well, the union. Usually, when something happens, anything happens, there's like a 3-strike thing.
Yeah.
Out of there, buddy. Boom. They didn't do a fucking thing. Like, they fucking see you later. You know, they want that retirement. They want that fees. They want that, you know, out of there. Anyways, he doesn't work in a casino. He doesn't have a nice casino job no more, dude.
Fuck.
He was working at the last I heard he was bartending at the Palomino.
Oh shit!
Which probably some money on that deal, and he's probably pimping for real.
I was
now.
gonna say he's graduated.
He's like, fuck it, dude. If I'm getting, it's like you get accused for cheating. You're like, might as well fucking cheat, dude. Shit.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, if you're out at lunch with a woman who's been convicted of prostitution, you can get arrested for being a pimp.
What?
You can get like say you're out and your female friend is a prostitute, and say whatever, she buys you lunch, or you're just out to lunch, you can get arrested for living off the earnings of a prostitute.
This is like one of those laws, like if you have a mustache
Yes.
at fucking 5 p.m., sundown on fucking on a late July fucking, what the fuck, dude?
Are there a lot of cops that
well,
pull that shit?
Well, it would be something they can
it's
open the door with.
Correct. It's a detective move, and it's a detective move to maybe, I don't know, maybe you are the pimp, you know what I mean? But it's something they open the door with,
Yeah, it's opening gamut. It's like, I smell weed,
Like how they planted shit.
Huh?
Oh, and the What Happened in Vegas documentary. Sorry, just
Oh,
got
yeah.
really tired all of a sudden.
Oh, no, yeah. No, they do that stuff. You're talking about the Costco one?
Mm-hmm.
Where
that too.
Eric Scott, I think his name
and
was.
then the black guys that they pulled over that went speeding and.
Oh, yeah. That was right over here on Sahara. And that guy passed away. Silk was his name. He passed away after that.
Real quick, dude, a little shot across the bow for me, though, man. Like, one of the things that I seen that Ram, your buddy Dennison, right? It seemed like he was kind of fucking helping the narrative with Paddock being like a successful gambler by interviewing his brother and let his brother kind of like run wild on that little deal with that. And his brother's like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
He was just a successful gambler. He knew how to win and beat the system. And the way he talked, I was like, this is like propaganda.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And
that was a big interview to get, though. That was a big interview for him to get. So he just kind of had to let him go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just didn't hear any like, really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, really? So that's I'd love to. I know your buddy's. I know he's well versed and he's a good guy and stuff. But I would just love to get a little clarification on the stance on that. But
I haven't seen that full interview yet. I haven't been. We were at his house. Me and Alex Ansel stayed at his house a couple months ago, and we were like in the editing room at his house. And I was like, dude, show me that Paddock interview, bro. See that? He was like, oh no, he's like, no, not yet. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, the bit that I saw, man, I was just like, oh, dude, that's not what I was. You're kind of helping shape the fucking narrative. You know?
I don't know where he's going. Like I said, he hasn't shown the whole thing, so hopefully maybe it changes, or I don't know.
I'd hope because where I'm sitting, I'm just like, now I got questions on people that I can rely on. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but yeah, we need to wrap this fucking thing up. Fuck.
Hey, what are your thoughts of them bringing it back this year? Route 91. They're gonna do it. They're gonna bring it back.
Oh,
yeah, that was a given. It won't be at the same place.
It's not co-founded by or co-produced by MGM.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
it's
still
going to
be an outdoor event.
The Fry concert? Is this the new Fry?
Oh, no. Have you heard of that?
Festival?
Oh, my gosh. I just watched that yesterday. It's so funny you mentioned that. How insane.
Andy fucking King, bro. That's all I got to say.
Well, I when all this was going, when all this shit was going down, I remember my wife talking about it and stuff, and I was just like, I go, this sounds like la-di-da bullshit to me. But
the first I heard about it was after it had happened, and I remember like the first thing I saw was like someone made a video of the Ace Ventura scene when he's running out of the jungle, and everybody remember he like had sex with the girl and she wasn't a virgin, and he's running out of the jungle. Do you know that scene?
Yeah.
and someone put Ja Rule's face on Ace Ventura's body, and everybody was like chasing him out of the jungle. That was the first I heard about it. Was I saw that and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't get the fucking joke. And then like I like looked into it and was like, oh shit, they ripped everyone off.
I remember when my wife, she had mentioned something about it, and she was like, yeah, they're gonna. I remember like as being promoted, or she mentioned it, or we heard it, but they're like, they're gonna get it done in 5 months, and I was like, that's impossible.
It's impossible.
No.
And then like they didn't even have like water, and people were getting like
toilets.
Then people were getting like bologna, like and like
cheese sandwiches.
yeah,
and shit.
like oh,
the
dude.
fucking the best was like, did you watch the Netflix one or the Hulu one?
The Netflix.
Okay, so
is the Hulu one different?
They're
I just-
different.
I
They're
just-
both produced by different people, and they both came out like in the same week or
Yes.
something.
I just
Okay, I'll
remember
watch the
I
Hulu
just
one
remember the
tonight.
live reports. I didn't see anything of this concert. I just bring any of these new documentaries. I just remember the live reports and all the shit that was going down, like people complaining. But I just remember before it was like knew it was going to be an epic failure.
Oh,
Well, it was going bad. Remember how bad it was going? Like they were out of money.
yeah.
Shit was bad. People were like leaving the island. Nothing was going on. And then it fucking rained. Remember? Like the beds were getting delivered, and they're setting up the fucking tents, like these little like shitty mosquito tents. People were gonna sleep in. They promised them like a villa, you know. And they've got like these pop up tents on the fucking like in the dirt.
Hurricane.
And like
shit.
a hurricane comes, like and
Yeah,
then,
it was like during hurricane season
and then a
too,
fucking
right?
storm hits, and like the mattresses are still outside. They're soaking wet, and then finally the guy like, what did he say at the end? He's like, just grab a mattress. Remember, he was like, just grab a mattress and find a tent. And it was like Lord of the Flies, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and they said like people were like fucking. Remember,
of
people were
the
like cutting
Flies.
holes in people's tents and shit, and like people were in like tents. And like guarding the tent, so they'd have like 10 mattresses in their fucking tent, like not giving a fuck if you had nothing or no fucking anything. And I was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with these people, bro? It's horrible.
To see
Certain
Blink
day-
182.
Yeah.
Dude, just turned into straight fucking Venezuelan fucking collapse,
Yeah.
fucking socialism.
Like the fucking Kowloon and shit in China, bro. It was just terrible.
Dude, this total fucking Lord of the Flies.
I
That's
saw-
so good.
I saw an Evian water. It was
Yeah.
like so good. I sucked dick for it.
Oh my god, like that should be their fucking whole ad campaign. Like the fucking dude, did you hear about that?
No.
So one of the team members, the only guy on the whole team that's got any event planning experience, is this gay guy named Andy King, I think was his name.
He was called in 911. Help us out. We need your help.
Yeah, they like bring this dude in. He's the fixer, right? Like he's the guy. And the guy that's promoting the festival, I forgot his fucking name, but he goes to this guy and he's like, listen, Andy, we got like fucking 2 semi-trucks full of water tied up in customs. And I need you to go down there
Take one for the team.
and take one for the team.
You-
And you're going to have to suck this dude's dick, the customs agent, to get the water out. And the dude's like, I got this, bro. Like, I'm the fucking guy for the job. And he went down there and he probably did suck his dick.
He did mouthwash. And
Yeah, like he probably did suck the dude's dick and just didn't. I don't. Maybe
Yeah.
no. He probably would have said it. I don't know. But whatever happened, he got the fucking water. Like the water got released, and he said he didn't suck his dick, but he was like, I was totally prepared. Like he says, I was totally prepared to do it, and I was like, oh
Jesus.
my god, did that dude?
don't admit to that.
Yeah, like fuck, you know, it was like hilarious. He was like, I was gonna take one for the team, and I was like, oh my god, they recorded way too much
But they.
because
But,
most of the
like-
documentary wasn't filmed by the film crew making the documentary. They had acquired footage from the people that were working there, and you know what I mean. So they had filmed way too much.
Interesting. Yeah, it was all new news to me last night, and I was so intrigued by the whole thing. Like,
Oh, I'm sure they dug up some good stuff. I just remember when it was like going down, my girl was like, look at this. Look
Ja
at this.
Rule was all on.
Yeah, like who the fuck is Ja Rule, bro? Like, why are
El
you like?
Chapo's.
Well,
or
dude-
not El Chapo.
Oh yeah, they
Well, Kylie
Pablo
Jenner,
Escobar's
Kylie
Island.
Jenner sold like a whole bunch of tickets and shit. Like she just like she didn't even have to like. I think she just made like an Instagram post with like just the fly, like not even.
No,
fly,
they were
like, an
having people
emblem or
post like
something.
an orange square.
Yeah.
And everybody was posting, like all these like supermodels and like Instagram people were like posting, all like the influencers and stuff where all their people were just
Crazy,
posting
dude.
like an orange tile.
Cult of personality, dude.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous.
I feel bad for the people in town, the little town. They were forced to work.
Oh, and didn't get paid?
And didn't get paid?
Yeah, like, and they put out all, like the restaurant people, like fucking were like, gave all their food and shit out. And like the guy was like, we'll pay you, just feed these people. And they didn't pay them.
Wow.
Luckily,
The one lady
I
was like,
saw
what was it, $60,000?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fucking money.
That is
her
a
life
lot of money.
savings.
Yeah.
Luckily, I saw that they made a GoFundMe for her and raised a lot of money to get
Yeah,
back.
she got her money back, thank God. You know, and they were like, they were trying to get off the island. Like, they were like fucking, they were like targets at that point. You know, like the locals wanted to kill him. The concert goers wanted to kill him. It wasn't no fucking Wayne's World, bro. It was a disaster. You know, it was a total disaster.
You watch it. It's good.
It's a good watch.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I got time between tutorials and fucking and conspiracies, dude. You know,
Yeah.
and in current news, Jesus, so much going on, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking. But the fire documentary was great.
I'll have to watch the Hulu one.
I haven't seen the Hulu one yet. I haven't seen it yet. But I watched the Netflix one. That was good enough.
After I watched it, I called up 3 people and I'm like, "Did you hear about this?" And I basically forced them to watch it too.
No, it was a good one. Like I said, you know, Netflix is pretty dry right now. There's not a lot of like killer content on there, and that was one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Yeah. What was the last thing that they did that was it Netflix? That at least I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would, but Ozark. I thought that was pretty.
Ozark's good.
I started. To
I don't think
watch
if it's.
the
I
first
don't think it's
season.
holding
I haven't
up.
Finished.
I don't think it's holding up like the more I thought about it. But what'd you say? Sorry.
I haven't finished it. I just watched part of season 1.
Yeah.
The
fuck it.
Narcos Mexico was
I
really
watched it all the
good.
way. I watched it all the way through.
That one was good. Ozark was good. The first season of Stranger Things was good. That's about where I'm at.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I need to. I probably should watch it because maybe, you know, I can update my references on my jokes. I don't
Is
know.
that light going red every now and then?
Yeah, dude, it's been doing it the whole time. I'm telling you.
Okay, why? Is it not set to go to red?
Yeah, I was trying to
See,
tell
it
you
just
that
went to
earlier.
red.
I was trying to. It was been doing this the whole time since we got in the room.
That's interesting.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Let's walk Hannah to her car.
Oh my God, I'm gonna
Hannah DeLeeuw.
have a little rough sleep tonight.
Hannah DeLeeuw, tell them where they can find you and all
Well,
that good stuff.
Twitter and Instagram. Sorry, I had to think about them for a while. I'm ready to go to bed. You can find me there at Hannah Cheyenne, and then my Snapchat is Bonquiquivag.
You're gonna have to spell this. Holy shit! Yeah.
Hannah Cheyenne, so HANNAH, and then CHEYENNA, and then Bonquiqui, BONQUIVAG. That's Snapchat. This week I have a little shindig. Well, Sunday the 10th, I have a shindig at Noreen's. I guess there's a cool little showcase thing going on.
Are you
there.
featuring there?
No.
Okay.
But I guess they're bringing people out to film, and
Oh.
Yeah. What day is that?
it was the 10th. This
That's
upcoming.
just Sunday, right? The normal thing
Yeah.
they do there? Okay.
And then I'll be at Hades Hookah Lounge on Valentine's Day.
That's a Thursday, right?
That's a Thursday.
Okay.
That starts at 10:30, and that's off Sahara. And then Saturday at midnight, I'm on Joe Caliz's Filth.
Comedy Uncensored?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I
Okay.
always get that one and the other one mixed up.
That's a good one. That's Joe and Garrett, right? They host that one together?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'll
So-
be on that little 10th show there with you too.
On Saturday?
Is it the February the 10th?
Oh, the 10th show. Yeah, then. That's Sunday.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll be doing that one. We got the podcast too, so I'll have to zip over.
Figure it out.
We're gonna have blah blah on that one, but
Who's Blah Blah?
he's
Is that a person's name?
He's the hip hop guy. He's my guy.
Gotcha.
Good guy. He's got a show. Oh fuck, I got a show going on with him too, coming up. But yeah, so Hannah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'd love to have you back on again. I love the fact that you're not afraid at all to talk about anything.
Yeah.
So
Let's
that's
get to know each other.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing because I mean, sometimes just even talking about the shooting, let alone other things, people get they clam up or are afraid to ask questions or anything. Fuck, the light's blinking. It went red again. Sorry. But yeah, no, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us over here.
I would love to hang out again. Go on some
maybe you should come by on
searches.
the 24th is when the girls are coming on. You get to get a female perspective on that.
Oh yeah.
Can we pull that off?
Yeah, dude. Fuck.
So the
24th?
24th, yeah.
So
6:30?
there'll be.
She said she's coming, and she said she's bringing a friend. I don't know if that's a.
Okay, well I have. Then I can do. We can add a mic.
Yeah,
I got it.
but we can get some female point of view questions on that
And what-
industry.
What did they do?
They're dancers.
Topless
Yep.
dancers. Okay. Yeah, it'd be good knowing that. Hey, I did a thing in my underwear.
Yeah.
Talking about your lap dance, your one lap dance.
Yeah.
Get some pointers.
Well, the joke back in the day was, what's the difference between a stripper and a cocktail waitress? A sheriff's card.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, Mikey, anything?
No, man. Same old stuff.
Same old shit.
Place, yep.
Yeah, same with me. You find us on all the good stuff wherever they're making podcasts, iTunes, and all that shit. Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube. We're gonna be fucking with the YouTube. I got the YouTube up. I just saw some depressing videos of me on YouTube. Fuck. Yeah. Yeah. Steam It's been kicking it. The last time we posted a picture, 169 likes. I only got like 400 and some followers, so that's a good fucking
Nice.
Percentage.
Yeah, right. 14-cent payout.
Nice.
I think that was. Yeah, that's a good one. Facebook hasn't paid me out, so I'm all about Steam It. Gonna be getting a guy on from Steam It too. At least a local dude here in Vegas within the weed community and stuff. We're gonna be trying to work it out with him. But yeah, we got a lot going on. So guys, and then also, well, yeah, we'll tell you about it later. Things gonna happen. Love you. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Peace.
Good night.
Come